to the whoop-de-wop.
Drifting off and getting
We're
away from
going to
that.
keep going over it, and I'm going to keep twisting your words to remind everybody we don't owe white people. We do not owe white people shit.
It's a place.
I run the risk, and it's not my channel, so I will just drop this fucking link.
Just curious, you know who's your
hand me the whoop-de-wop.
Well, I know it's an Indiana thing.
You got some money?
You know what
going to the whoop-de-wop.
I actually don't.
Okay. Got something to do with me.
Throw some cool.
And from a Hoosier, you're going to get certain things that are going to happen.
Well, I do know at one point Indiana was like the center of the Klan.
Like cool. And she already know to get my dough. So
and 50 and 60, it's gonna show what you did in your 20s and your 30s. Let me show you guys one of my girls. She is in her 40s. I think she's 47. Paula, I can't remember what number you are, but look, she's giving us 20 years old and she's in her 40s. How do you settle for the bare minimum? When you give yourself the bare minimum. A lot of women will settle and give themselves the bare minimum out of emotional needs, comfort zones. You feel like you're doing too much, but you really aren't. And then you settle for what is settling for you. A man that really wants to add to your feminine queen essence, your queen aura, he's going to watch what you do for yourself. He's going to see that self-care is a non-negotiable. Your health is a non-negotiable. Looking good is a non-negotiable. So he's going to add to it. So if you're cheaping out on yourself, expect a man that's going to cheap out on you. Hello, beautiful people. I just finished.
Well, welcome back to the restart of this of today's show. I wasn't going to show this, but you know what? It popped up into my algorithm and it looked interesting. This is called 9 Things I Did to Become That Girl When I Was Single and Now Engaged, Become Interesting and Irresistible. And this lady's channel is Shanice Case. She's kind of cute. I would not be disappointed to be her boyfriend or fiance. So I'm going to drop this into the chat. If anybody wants to, well, you know what? Actually, I ought to put her channel. So it's kind of longish, but I'm kind of interested to see what she did to become that girl. And just so you know, on Nightish's channel early this morning, this sort of stuff kind of came up. It's about women and what they need to do. You know, it wound up being kind of like what I try to avoid, which is like, you know, talking about relationships and stuff. So I'm going to indulge myself with this particular video. Then we're going to move back on to MAGA, It's Racism, and the embarrassing minorities who are buying into the MAGA grift. So let's have a look at this. And what's up, Richard?
From the gym, and this video topic stemmed from me being in the gym, and I'm going to explain shortly. In today's video, we are going to be talking about 9 things that I did while I was single and I continue to do while being a fiance. So whether you're single, dating, or married, you are going to enjoy the 9 tips that I provide as you work on becoming the woman of your dreams. And these 9 things, I hope you integrate them into your life because they're going to have you out here irresistible. Your aura, your energy is going to be up. I was just finishing up my workout. I was getting onto the treadmill and a beautiful lady came up to me and she's like, girl, I think only you can pull off this color. And I'm like, no, 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 you can wear these colors too. She said, yesterday I saw you wearing red. Today you're wearing pink. And I'm texting my friend, like, there's a girl in here that is just looking so good. The guys are turning their heads. Men do turn their heads. I mean, when I'm at the grocery store, wherever I go, people are always turning their heads, whether it's a man or a female.
You know, I kind of wonder, don't they have all women gyms or all ladies gyms? I would think that while it might be fun, co-ed and picking up guys or girls or whatever, but I would think it would be a bit of a distraction if you're actually serious about your workouts. Um, I'm pretty sure they have all ladies gyms.
Female. I get a lot of attention without wanting the attention. When I first started my fitness journey, it wasn't about
Yeah,
going up
I'll
and
bet it
shiny. It
is.
was about being shallow. It was about transforming my body to where it got attention. And I realized along the journey, I wasn't getting the best kind of quality attention. Men.
Now, see, I would actually I'd go to the co-ed gym like maybe on Friday nights.
Wanted me for my body, and my current man, my fiance, wanted me for my
Well, I mean,
mindset.
what are you gonna wear
And
though,
now
Richard?
I get tons of attention, but I can handle it knowing I know who I am. I know I am enough. I wear what I want. I wear bright and bold colors. I'm not afraid to be bold. A lot of you guys are afraid to wear the outfit. You're waiting for the perfect opportunity, or for when your body looks like this, or when this or that. You are waiting to be bold, to be your biggest cheerleader, to be your best self, to present yourself,
I don't
to
know.
represent
That's a
who
little
you are trying
wild
to
as far
become.
as
You're putting
outfit.
that on a standstill for so long. And so when the lady came up to me, I was like, I love when women compliment me. I can get all the compliments from men, but I just don't care. When women compliment me, now I know I'm really doing
You
something.
know,
Do
she
you get
really
that
shouldn't
when
wear
a
those
woman gives you a
shades.
compliment, you're like, I'm actually
Makes her
doing what I
look
need
kind
to
of
do. But anyways, I
insectoid.
feel like I've been rambling too much. So a few mornings back, I was in the gym very early in the morning, and the gym, or the cardio area, was packed with men. And I was thinking to myself, if I was a single woman and I'm looking for a healthy, fit man that prioritizes his health, I would want to be in the gym. I would want to find my man in the gym. I would want to see, and I would be turned on by the man taking care of his health. That would be priority. So, as a woman, if you're looking for that kind of man, or you're looking for a certain kind of man, you're looking for a healthy man, a generous provider, strong man, why are you yourself not in the gym? That's going to be tip number one. Your overall health. Before I started dating, when I was single, and currently till today, health has always been a priority. Ladies, it is so important to create a gym routine, and you're showing up. Don't just get the nice outfits. Go to the gym beyond what you're going to look like. Is there a mosquito in my car? I'm sorry. It's outside. What, beyond the outfits, beyond the aesthetics of, oh, when my body looks like this, da, 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 da. No, when you go to the gym, it is
You know
going to
what?
toughen you mentally. It's going to
There ought to be a fucking law that people are not allowed to say da 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 da. Motherfucking use your words.
strengthen you. It's going to test your resilience, your patience. A lot of you guys want to see the results right away, but just like in love, in relationships, in getting to know someone, that requires patience. And how many times in relationships, or getting to know someone you're dating,
I'm gonna be real honest with you. I don't find her that feminine, to be honest. Um, I really, I would never marry a gym rat. Um, you know, there's a difference between being toned and in shape, and there's a difference between, a woman wanting to be a hard body. I just don't find, I would never say no or kick her out of bed or anything like that. I mean, I find her attractive. I don't find her gym rattery attractive. Um, I don't know. Just a little bit too much hard body interest in being a hard body for my now. Maybe I might not be the right type of person for her. Um, maybe a fellow gym rat would be. I bet her boyfriend probably is.
You instantly sleep with them, or you're geeking over them, you're constantly texting them, you're waiting
I
by
don't
your
think
phone,
she's that.
you're putting off your own
I don't.
goals for this person.
But I think she's right on the edge of being muscular. When I saw her in those high heels with the rippling muscled legs, I didn't find that attractive. Um, um, and then the fucking, she just didn't look right in those stilettos either. She almost looked like Grace Jones. I think that's probably, she's very Grace Jones-ish. But I don't, like I said, I mean, if she came up and like hit on me, which is extremely unlikely, but if she did, I'd definitely say yes. It's just she wouldn't be my first choice.
And there was no patience. You were just trying to fill the dopamine. You were trying to fill a void. You were trying to be validated. You were just,
I don't want my woman talking about trying to feel the burn. I'm sorry.
Too much, too soon. I need you to treat your fitness goals and creating a gym routine over your relationship. When you feel good, you will look good. It's not about.
I mean, I think she's just right on that edge, a little bit more, and it would be too much. And she's athletic, apparently. So I mean, you can't really, fuss at her. She's just a little too.
But the aura
gym
that
ratish.
I know myself. I love myself. I've got a big, bold energy that I'm like, I'm gonna walk into the gym, and even if I didn't know what to do in the gym, I'm gonna walk with confidence. I'm gonna walk like I'm gonna figure it out, just like I walk through life.
Let me tell you how his Monday is. There,
when I started in the gym at 5 pounds, and I was malnourished looking, and nobody wanted to turn their head for me. Baby, I kept going, and now I can lift 100 pounds. I can lift 120 pounds. I can lift 200 pounds. I can lift more than my body weight. I could lift you up, baby. I'm so strong. I'm tiny, but I'm so strong. My body shape nice. Though my mind is so powerful because
she's tiny. She doesn't come off as tiny.
When I told myself, or I thought I couldn't do something, and just by creating that gym routine and not giving up and staying the course, when men see you or just anyone sees you,
he's definitely powerful, wow, Richard.
This person,
but I'm more powerful.
This person takes care of their body. The way that you see someone's body, you can see the discipline, the dedication, the hard work. When you see my body, I don't play about me. When you see my body, you're like, girl, you work out.
Nah,
people always ask me, how
I'm just
long
not
are your
into
workouts?
this.
They're about 40 minutes to an hour. How often do you train? About 4 to 5 times a week. When I was competing, maybe 6 times a week. But genuinely,
so she is a competitive.
My muscles feel tight. My booty is round and up.
I can understand that. It's just not. I just need. And you know what's really funny though, Richard? I like athletic women, but not. I think you can be athletic, but not necessarily. Yeah. I think you could be. I think a woman can be at. Maybe what I mean is more like athletic, as in outdoorsy. Like a hiker or someone who kind of likes to, do outdoor stuff, but not to the point of masculinity. I honestly think. I don't know. Maybe it's the shades. I think she's attractive. I just don't want a gym rat. I don't know.
There we go.
Well, I heard you the first time.
Oh, I couldn't hear you.
Oh,
what up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
No,
what's she talking about her body so much for? Is it banging?
It's banging, but it's, I don't know. I think she might be a competitive, like, bodybuilder type, and I just don't. It's just not my shtick. I want a woman who's kind of athletic, but outdoorsy athletic. Toned, but not rippling.
Right.
I don't need,
Soft.
I don't need the ripping muscles and, all that stuff.
I don't know. I like a little competitiveness with her. She'll keep me motivated. You know.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe it's age. Maybe if in my 20s I would have been more into it, but I don't think so. I mean, look, I was a runner in school. I hated weight rooms. I would avoid them if at all possible, and it wasn't always. I'm just not, woman. I am okay with a woman going to the gym, but like competitive bodybuilding and that sort of shit, nope. Sorry. If I want to marry a man, I know where to find one.
It's not a man. Anyway,
No,
let me see it in motion. Let me see it in motion. Let me see what she's talking about.
there's earlier she's walking. Let me go back. I'll backtrack a little bit.
Yeah, I just got in. My bad.
I don't like backtracking in videos, but I'll just do it because it makes my point.
For so long. And so when
Look like she got her a white man.
Like, I love when women compliment me.
I think she might.
Outfit. You're waiting for the perfect opportunity or for
okay, this is what I'm talking about. I don't find this muscular presentation here. I don't really find that attractive.
Right.
I think that's a little too much. Let me backtrack it a little bit. You'll see her walking. It's just I don't know.
Wear the outfit.
Like I said, I would never say no. She asked me out, I would definitely go.
Like this,
but that's just a little too much.
You are.
Yeah, when you got the muscle butt and your legs don't have any fat in it. Yeah,
and then she's got big ass feet.
Who you are trying to become. You're putting that on a.
It's a recipe for disaster.
I mean, she literally, I would see if she pissed me off, I'd be calling her duck feet. and she's probably more muscular than I am. She probably beat my ass when I called her duck feet.
No, I would be into that. Well, she looks cute in the car. Like when she get out, if that's how she walk like she got fucking weighted vest on.
Now she finally took off these damn glasses. Now she is very marginal in the face. I think she's acceptable, but not like someone that I would just fucking drop everything for.
The gym has reached her face, but I give her credit.
Right.
If that's her real hair, I give her credit. If it's not,
well, the other thing is I don't think her breasts are real. They look a little too perfect for they don't look they look sculpted.
Learning
I'll
new
put
skills
it that way.
Opens up the door.
I'm not tripping on that.
New opportunities to meeting new
people. I don't like
traveling different places. This is
again, it wouldn't be my preference to have someone who's had a boob job.
Always growing, always striving for more. Along with reading. Ladies, when I tell you, my man told me he fell in love with my mindset. Like I said, I had been on dates with men.
Is that what he fell in love with?
Body. But prior to meeting
I don't see that.
I would always just.
I got it. I'm not picking up on her mindset.
Listen to a lot of podcasts.
She's motivated. I mean, she is into looking good. The title of this video is 9 Things I Did to Become That Girl When I Was Single and Now Engaged, Become Interesting and Irresistible. So she is about image, and I appreciate that about her. She wants to look good. It's just that she is a little too motivated, maybe.
Well, you like,
and here's the deal. I dated someone who was kind of a model, like local to Savannah. She was kind of a model, and she was very into looks and all this stuff, and I just didn't enjoy dating her. You
like a strong woman, but not in this sense.
No, she wasn't. Look, she wasn't strong. Maybe strong plus very into herself. Like, you know what? Let me put it to you this way. she didn't she did not like sex that much. She was much more interested in like not getting all sweaty. I don't mind a girl who's kind of self-indulgent, but you know what? I also like a woman who's kind of athletic in bed. When it comes down to it, I like a woman who can just get into it. This girl, it was like her hair had to be, and every hair had to be in place, and
Yeah, fuck that.
it was just unattractive.
Right. They're just boring. I get you.
I wouldn't say boring, I would say frustrating.
Yeah, yeah, that's a better way to put it for sure. Do I have a problem with that? Not really, but I know what you mean when you say frustrated.
Oh, I wasn't hitting it right. Well, J Dub, you could, hey, you know what? The thing is I had been with women before her, and I've been with women after her, and maybe I just wasn't the type to hit it right. Maybe I couldn't, not every man um works with every woman and vice versa, you know. So I
That's
mean,
true.
I'm okay with that.
That's very
Because
true.
I because I wasn't about to be self-indulgent, like, oh yes, dear, we'll do it when you're ready. Fuck all that.
I've had
It's
pretty
all
in the face,
it's all
boring
about
in bed. Like that's the worst.
it's all about me, not you.
Right. Have you ever came across that, Stanley? Like pretty in the face, boring in bed,
Oh yeah.
like banging body, but horrible.
Look, I've had a couple women who were just kind of like lay there and let it happen to them.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
like my women just to be a little bit more participatory, you
Eh,
know, because there's nothing like being in bed with someone and you just get the feeling that they're just going through the motions. They're not really enjoying it. I've had women who were actual like, you know, I
Delilah.
remember, I'm going to tell this story. I dated this Swedish girl when I was 24. We were both 24. I was a newly minted naval officer. And she was into it. I think it might have been, she was an au pair. I've told you about her before.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think it was a little bit of exoticism. She's from a very white country. She's over here and she's dating this, I must say, gorgeous, handsome black guy. And she was into it. I mean, she once told me she couldn't wait to have a little brown baby. She was into it. So
Well,
one day,
Swedish women are very liberal too.
I don't know if she was liberal, but I do know that
Like
she
politically
liked sex.
liberal. Like they
She didn't know. She didn't
definitely
know
are a
anything.
woman force.
She didn't know anything about American politics. But here's the deal: I was in the process of buying my first car, and my father was giving me advice and all this stuff. So one night, he called, and we were both, like in bed, butt naked. And I'm talking to my father about cars, and I started getting into it, and I guess she felt neglected. And you know what? All of a sudden, she just comes over and she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna get your attention." She starts sucking me off, and I'm on the phone with my father, and I'm like, I'm like, oh my Lord, you know what? I'm not gonna be able to, keep an even tone of voice. So I'm trying to figure out how to hang up. I need a natural way to, I can't say, "Hey, Daddy, I'm getting my dick sucked. I'll call you back later." I had I had to. I'm like, oh shit! I know my voice is getting a little, a little. I know I'm sounding weird. So finally, I'm able to go after about 5 minutes. I'm like, hey, I'll call you. I'll call you tomorrow, dude. It was hilarious. She knew what she was doing, and I'm like, God damn, I love this woman. She's like, "Oh, get your fucking attention, bub."
Yeah,
And
I know the type.
And you know what was so funny though? Not
What's
the
that?
day before, we were talking about oral sex, and she's like, well, I've never done it and all this stuff. That's what the shocker was. It's like she had never done it. So it's like, oh, motherfucker, I'm going to get your attention. You're going to be the first. Oh, dude, I was in fucking heaven.
Oh, you didn't think she was lying at all?
Well, we just kind of left it hanging.
Or she
I
just had
think we would have
drink?
gotten around to it eventually because we were real. I made a mistake letting her go back to Sweden, and I didn't realize it until years later. But the bottom line is, hey, to be the first, and God damn it, it is a man's story to fucking tell this story, but it is every bit of it is true. It's like, God damn it. How am I gonna hang up? I gotta create a way to get off this phone. So
Man,
it was awesome.
it sounds like you had a white girl turn you out for the first time. The same thing happened to me.
You know what? I didn't really consider her white. She really
Right,
didn't
right.
understand. She didn't really understand how race works in America. I was just a brown guy she thought was attractive. And how I met her, I was out at a bar with some friends. This is in Newport, Rhode Island, and if you've ever been to Newport in the summertime, it is God's gift to young people. So we're at this open air bar, and I was there with some friends, and they had just walked off and left me. So I'm heading back downtown to get my car, and these three white girls are just like fucking singing and having a good time. I was half drunk, so I just skipped up to them and looped her arm and went, hey, what y'all doing? So we
It's
walked
so
to the
easy to do
parking.
that.
Huh?
It's so easy to do that because they're kind of inviting. They smile
Well,
and shit.
we walked to the car. Now she didn't live in Newport. She lived closer to Providence. So they just come out to Newport for the night. But here's the deal. So she came with two other friends, and she and I get to talking in the parking lot. And it wasn't the first, well, it was the first time I used this line, but it wasn't the last. So her two friends are ready to go. And I'm like, well, don't worry about it. I'll get her back home. Oh, they didn't know me. I didn't know any of them. We were total strangers. And I guess I just looked trustworthy. And I'm like, hey, don't worry about it. I'm a naval officer. I'll make sure she gets home safe. And,
Oh yeah,
and you know
oh
what?
yeah.
No, she was cool with it.
I
That's the
remember you telling me
awesome
the
thing.
story. You was the man in that moment.
Well, no, I've done it a couple other times, different places, but no, it was. As a matter of fact, actually, now I'm trying to think. Was that the first time or the second time? But either way, total stranger. So shit, we caught a cab back to my place, and shit, we dated for like 5 months until she went back to Sweden. Total random, kind of a one night stand that turned into a 5 month stand. Dude, this is the power of being in your early 20s. Being fucking 24, 23, 24 is fucking awesome. I don't really miss those days, but my son's 19. I hope he's careful, but I hope he has a good young man's, life.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Now,
a beautiful thing.
I've never told him any of these stories, but I wouldn't, now that he's 19, he'll be 20 next June. Yeah, I'll tell him the story if it came up. But I don't like telling him, stories that don't, necessarily. Well, I would never tell him. Now that I think of it, he doesn't need to know.
Right, right.
If he listens to the show, fine. And I don't even think he knows I have a show. I think he knows I have a show. They don't do YouTube apparently when they're that young.
Nah, it's when you
So
realize
anyway,
you're an adult.
I'm sitting here reminiscing about the old days, but it's fun as shit.
Yeah, I see what you're saying about this chick. Like, she's a tad bit too built. Titties do look
Mhm.
good. Her face, but
I,
I was
I
gonna
mean,
come up
I
here and give her
wouldn't.
props.
I. Her face is passable. I mean, I
It's
could,
passable. I came to give her props because you be saying I don't like black women. I love chocolate, man.
yeah. Well, this is she looks good in pink, that's for sure.
Or anything that's going to open and expand
I
your
don't think
mind.
she's
This is going
ugly.
to make
She's
you an
just, she's
irresistible,
okay.
attractive woman, because a lot of women are starting to
Her
become
voice sounds kind of
third-rate.
transish.
All you do is scroll and get your information
I
from
don't know about all
TikTok
that.
or social media.
She sounds.
And there's
I
no
don't think
source,
she's trans.
there's
I'll put it
no
that
further
way.
research. You haven't read any books. You haven't gone
We
to the
made it
source.
sound
You
like
don't know much. You
because she
just
works
go
out,
with
if you
all
wanted a man, you go get a man.
across on social media. There's also so
Well,
many
wait,
people
is
that
is
are
the volume
trying to
messing up
design their
again,
lifestyle from what they
Richard?
see on social
'Cause
I
I had
don't
to
know. I
media.
can't
shut
tell.
down and
Sounds good to me.
You have to be able to think
I
for
had to shut
yourself.
down
You
and
need to
start
know
a
what
new
you truly
stream.
want, not what you see on social media. The conversations that you have, the people that you want to have around you
My wife is
should
weird.
be
She fried chicken and
inspiring
fried the
your
fucking
own belief,
chicken neck.
should be intentional for
Why
the
is that
life that
weird?
you are creating for
I don't know.
yourself
I've never seen
and
nobody do that.
the addition of a partner, right? Not
Really?
based on
I'm
social.
looking at this plate. What the
So,
fuck is
ladies,
this?
read, invest, learn how to
Well,
invest, learn a new skill,
I've seen them
have a
like
few
fry a
hobbies that are
whole
going to
bird
make
with the
you
neck on it,
intriguing
like a
and
Peking
interesting.
duck.
Number 6 is going to be going on solo
That
dates
takes a
or
lot of oil.
jobs. And I try and get my women to do this very often
I
because
wonder if
it's
she's
going
some
to get
sort of
you out of your
personal
comfort zone.
trainer.
Getting dressed up for yourself,
I don't
seeing
know. I
a
got a
beautiful
cousin. She's kind of
and
like
you're
this. So, like, she
confident
got into
doing something
weightlifting. She's
just
got the
for you,
septum ring and
working your
shit.
body just for
Mm-hmm.
you,
She
going
got into like
out
the
and being your own
the
company
unk and
just
all
for
that
you
fucking
says a lot
African
about a
bullshit.
woman that
She
enjoys
cut her
herself.
hair and dyed it blonde, and she
I
just
go
worked out so
solo
much
date,
that
I
she
will
didn't
wear
realize how
everything
built
chilled,
she
bring
got.
it all
She's
fine.
got broad shoulders
Bring
and
you
shit,
the table because if
Mm-hmm.
you walk in, sometimes
but
they're
she's
like,
built,
table for one. Do you want to
and
sit
she
at the
can't
bar?
find a
No, I don't
dude
want to
still.
sit at the bar. Even
Kind of,
before I
Really?
became a fiance,
yeah. And
I
like she's been straight her whole life, but she looks like a
so
bull dyke.
when you're sitting at the bar, guys that
Please tell me you didn't
guys
tell
that
her
are just
that.
looking for a good time,
Well,
come and approach me at
when you
please. Is
when you
anyone
just take shit for granted because you're a woman and you get attention and all everybody's at your
right? If
whim
I
and
were
you just start
single,
doing your
no,
own thing,
I
you
don't.
don't realize how far
I
out
would
there you
never sit at
go
the bar, and I don't
if you're
recommend
not grounded on what a man wants.
because you are single.
That's what
Walk
happened to her.
in a restaurant,
Yeah,
work
I
the
would
restaurant,
tend to
walk
agree with that.
around that
That's why you
restaurant,
have
let people
brothers
know
or,
that you're there. You don't have to
you know,
Well,
spend time
nobody
cousins
told her
or
to put the fucking
your
waist down.
energy alone,
She
your
got
aura when you
built,
walk
like
into
built.
spaces. That right there will captivate
oh,
any single man's attention.
Chin
wow.
ups
Women,
and shit.
men, they're gonna look,
Dips,
they're gonna be like, wow,
chest
that girl is
presses. Like
dressed. That girl has something about
she
her.
did
And every time
she
people
did the
step
whole
on the
fucking Jay
cheesecake,
Cutler
there's
workout.
something about you. And you just gotta walk with your head up. You just gotta walk. And really, in my head, I'm just like, girl, give them a show. Because even if you're shy and this is
Give them
very
a
foreign to
show.
you,
And I feel like she
even if
went down
you
the same
people
path. This
get
lady right
comfortable
here,
when you're uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
she could be
you just
beautiful if she stopped and actually ate to put some fat on. But like once you look like the fat's been sucked out of you and your jawline gets square and your shoulders are square and your fucking butt looks smaller than your shoulder, like your waistline is slimmer than your shoulders. Like you don't look like a woman no more. You look like a fucking dude that's transitioning, and you start sounding like it too. It rips your vocal cords out. Her voice is like
Well,
that pre-tranny voice.
I'm going to put it to you this way. I really couldn't imagine her as a mother in this condition.
Exactly. She's
I know
not
this.
soft enough.
Yeah.
She looked like her hands would be rough if you held hands with her. She would have calluses and shit.
She might use gloves.
Nah. She don't look like a glove
You
wearing
think
type.
she just chalks up her hands and
Yeah. Like talk dust all over her fucking workout clothes. Yeah. Exactly.
oh wow.
She
I
like
hope
needs to
not.
take like 6 months off.
You think? Yeah, but I mean, what would that do to her though? I know sometimes when you stop lifting weights, you actually become kind of flabby or misshapen.
That's good for
Would
women.
or would she have to do a little maintenance work?
The only thing she would have to do is sit ups, and you really don't want a 6 pack.
Mhm.
Okay, some what is that? Where you do like the leg twist, like you lift the knee up to the other side of your body, where you keep your core tight, that kind of
Mhm.
shit. But like, she doesn't need to lift weights. She's too small, or she's too
Yeah.
big.
All right. Well, enough of her.
Wait, I wanted to
Let's
see if she
do
was dating a white guy. She was holding
Hollywood.
hands with some dude.
Okay.
I wanted to see if he was white or not, because this is the type of black chick that white guys get. Rather dark skin, real hair, and active. They don't go for like the thick ones. They don't at all. Like if she's got like that little petite butt or that tight butt, that's the type that white dudes go for. But if she got asses, he probably was just light skinned. I wanted to see the dude she was holding hands with when she was walking in one of the frames. I seen it.
Well, it was off in a distance. I mean, I couldn't really tell, and I'm looking at the rest of the video. It's all her in the car.
It was in the
Um,
beginning.
yeah, let
Oh
me
yeah,
see if
go
I can
right there. Go
find
right
it.
there where she's doing in the green. I want to see what she's doing there, real quick. Yeah, you can go too far. She's like on that precipice. Like triceps on a chick. Yeah.
I mean, I like right here. She's right on the edge, man. She is right
Yeah.
on the edge.
Because most chicks who work out, their titties don't get swollen like that. They just get flat. They
Well,
get
I think I
flattened.
don't think I think they're I think she's had some work done.
And that's cool. But no matter what she do, they're gonna look that fake. Especially if she doesn't have natural fat.
Right. I don't know. I just think she almost looks almost like a Terminator robotic sort of look. If she started doing I'll be back, it
Yeah.
wouldn't surprise me that much.
Chocolate chalk outline. She's cooked. Fuck it. All right, Skip, go ahead.
I was looking to see if we could find where she was
Walking.
oh, I just saw her like she's doing the bands and shit like that. Here
Yo,
she
this
is.
all day
at the-
long. She's just working out 24/7. That's a fucking mental problem. Don't
Oh,
forget
mental problem?
yeah, don't forget you're a female.
Here she's. That's why I'm kind of wondering if she's some sort of trainer or life coach or something.
Bitch need to get lost in the woods.
Now look, I mean, she really has lost hips here. I mean, she's almost pencil. You know.
Yeah, that ain't it. And this is one knock that I have against white women, right? Look at that pencil frame on the left. They when they
And she's
work
got
out,
some big ass feet.
yeah. When they work out, they really get like candlestick legs. And I can't stand that. That's my only knock.
Ah, yeah, I just don't. I'm just not feeling that, to be honest.
Yeah, your back and shoulders. Like all you do is rows all day. Upper body workouts and shit. Not for me, bro.
But like I said, I would never tell her no. I mean, I could probably grow to like it, but I just have a feeling that, not really being a gym rat myself, it probably wouldn't work out in the end.
I'd have a
Now,
day where
this
I
is
don't want to fucking work out, and I probably cuss her out for being so energetic.
Nah, I would never curse her out. she might bench press me.
Hey, listen, you gotta cuss a woman out if you're in a relationship. There's a certain amount of like teasing that you have to do. I don't know. I've always been in long-term relationships, and like when they think it's cool, you don't pull a fast one on them, they won't appreciate you as much. So you gotta mix it up, cuss them out a little bit. Trust me, it
Let's
works.
see. Okay, well, this is a dude that I just discovered today. He wandered into my algorithm, and he's got a whole 5 subscribers. But this is called "Affirmative Action is an Insult to Black Intellectuals and Their Intelligence," which I guess maybe he considers himself an intellectual. But I heard him out and actually commented, which I can show you the comment, and he responded, and I responded back. And there were a couple other people who responded to my response, and they were more in my camp.
Brother D.
Hey,
Back
drop
again.
his
Uncle
link,
Tom
man.
Media.
I'll sub to him. He look
Yeah,
like one of the dudes that
I
be
want
on
you to know
Oh yeah, I wouldn't
not,
encourage
you might be
everybody to subscribe to him. He's new.
he look like the guy that be on Not for Humans.
Well, the problem is his channel is called Uncle Tom.
No, there is an Uncle Tom already. I'm subscribed
Well,
to
no,
him.
he spells it the regular way. The Uncle Tom I know of uses a K in
Yeah.
Uncle. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. But that Uncle Tom says he's got a degree in political science, and I've heard him talk politics. He's at least cogent. So this
Yeah,
is
he's fun.
Uncle Tom's channel. He's got a whole 5 subscribers, and you know what? What we're looking at is his second video. He's only done 2 so far, so he's brand new. But yeah, sure, y'all. He's probably someone that a lot of people in this audience would like, because he talks that he's a Trump voter, and he talks all that coon talk. So I
Let's get him
highly
over here.
recommend.
Drop his link. We'll subscribe. I'll drop. I know how to get.
I just dropped the link. He doesn't need to come over here. He needs to sharpen up his game. You know,
No, all you gotta do is let him come over. You cook him, and then we'll send him back and see how he does.
No, I don't want to hurt his feelings.
Too free.
Nah, he needs that.
Today's
Trust me. What's up,
topic is
Candy
we're talking
Cane?
about affirmative action, which is a very touchy topic for most blacks.
What's up,
talking
Candy
about
Cane?
it and understanding that what it is and what it's about cause people to get uneasy and unsettled. So we're going to talk about it because Uncle Tom, again, spreaded truth, was a man of courage, value, honor, and worked on the Underground Railroad to get other slaves free. And so that's what I'm doing today. I'm working on the above ground.
He's trying to get other slaves
trying to get
free.
other black people off the Democratic Party and onto a system that's going to allow them to think for themselves and not be victocrats or not feel like that racism is the number one top priority in America and somehow they can't make it and somehow they are.
You know, now I'm trying to figure out how the Republicans are not a plantation. Dude, they're like abusing their South Asian members, and just they're treating Byron Donalds like a fucking real slave.
Oh, do tell.
Oppressed, and somehow they got all these
Oh,
issues
you
going
have, man, they've been, dude.
I haven't been paying attention, so I mean,
Nick Fuentes is calling them all Uncle Toms.
Yeah, Nick is like anti-Trump, so anybody associated with that is gonna catch the flack. And I get where he's coming from with that because he's just anti-piss the
They're
wall.
basically saying he's the future now that Charlie Kirk's gone. He's like kind of the future of the Republican Party, at least MAGA.
I went on over to Rumble and subscribed to Nick, and I watched one of them. And I think that he makes a case, not that I necessarily agree with it. He just makes a case.
A case for what?
a case for anti anybody who kisses the wall, and this is why Mam Donnie won. Mam Donnie.
Okay, let me tell you something. He wants to go after, JD Vance's wife and all this shit. At least JD Vance gets some pussy.
Whoa! Nick's a virgin. I respect that.
Yeah, Nick is a goddamn gay man.
Nick is a virgin. He's not gay.
Nick is a goddamn incel. Dude, there's no way.
He is an incel.
Dude, I would respect a JD
Vance. This is my issue with you.
That motherfucker is a Peter Pan character. He's a lost boy.
Yeah, he is. But you know what? This is my issue with you, Stanley.
You know what? You give
that
boy some sex, and he will be a different man. He'll even get a little bass in his voice.
That's the issue. You're a different man because you had sex.
Hey, you know what? I'm part of the club.
I know my bro. This is what I do know. I'm not coming at you at all. I wanted to say this. My brother was a virgin until he got married. All the way up to the day he got married, he made nothing but the right decisions. I see Nick in the same light. Whether we agree with
hold it. What is that? So making the right decision, like once you have relations with a woman, you don't make right decisions anymore?
I honestly believe that.
Okay, well, dude, you're more fucked up than I thought so in the head.
And that's fine. But Stanley, I know how much I jumped up.
How many people?
Wait. Let me say this though. I know how much I jumped out the window after the first time I got some. I was jumping out the window for it. You can't say you wasn't either. There were some things that you actually leverage your you leverage your integrity for that shit.
Okay, I don't know what planet you're from, but
no bullshit, Stanley. Maybe you're so far removed you don't remember, or you can't think of a situation that happened.
Planet, we don't let a little pussy like drive us off the edge.
There are some people who have jumped off the edge for pussy, bro. You know that.
Okay, no, I know nothing of the sort.
You don't want to admit it. And it sometimes you do that.
You are assuming way too much. Back in my day, you could get some pussy and still make good decisions.
It's just like money. If you don't have it, you don't know how far behind you are.
Okay, Dave.
We're
talking past each other. We're talking past each other. My point is that a real man can get some pussy and still be a responsible man. I can
tell by sitting in your chat before I ever hit this panel that pussy has a lot to do with why you say some things that you say.
I don't know. Again, you and I must be from two different planets.
I can look at things objectively, Stanley. I
don't think you're looking at things objectively. I think you are. I think it's a wacky point of view you're presenting.
No, it's just not. It's not the norm. It's not the norm.
That's exactly it. It's like, dude, y'all. All I have to say is, if pussy is forcing young men to make wrong decisions, oh boy, that is definitely. They definitely need some fathers.
Stanley, you don't think vagina has made men make bad decisions?
I think it's made weak men make bad decisions.
Weak or whatever. You don't know you're weak until you had it and you sell the
I'm not going to back off my point. It will make a weak man make wrong decisions, but no.
It'll make a strong man make wrong decisions. You can't rule that out either.
Someone who is grounded is not going to ruin his fucking life over some pussy. I mean, that's one of the things. That's one of the things I've talked to my son many times. Don't let some woman ruin your potential.
Okay, so a guy who's never had vagina is not saying things or doing things that are influenced by vagina. Is that so wrong? Is that so wrong? You got a completely unbiased fucking point of view.
Okay, you should never let your life be ruled by pussy. Never.
Okay, so
Not
this
even
is why I give
not
him
even
credit.
as a teenager. I mean, teenagers will be goofy, but dude, you don't let pussy ruin your life.
Stanley, people have.
Okay, just because people have doesn't mean most people should. Okay, people have killed people too. I mean, people have done all kinds of crazy things. A weak man will let pussy alter his life forever. Someone with the right influences and a little bit of willpower, dude. I don't know. No. And Nick Fuentes, you can tell he's never had pussy. He needs some just to calm down a bit. he's kind of twitchy.
Yeah, some people say you need some weed to calm down too. I mean, outside influences, like a guy with a sound
Well,
mind,
you know what?
I can respect that.
Don't let weed ruin your life either.
Right, but all these are vices, man. You give somebody like that who's went so far down a rabbit hole something to take him off of his path. He might change. He's gonna change. He's gonna change into something different. He might be an extremely big simp. He could be I know simps. Like simps get some vagina and they don't know what to do with themselves. They think that women should run the world.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think that's his case, and that's
would,
what I
said,
respect it. I literally respect it.
I mean, it's going to change your life a bit, but it shouldn't just take you off the edge.
And see, this is the thing: you can't miss what you have not had. If you never had money, you don't know what it's like to have money. Money's not going to motivate you. If vagina,
no, I think there's enough natural instincts. I think.
Well, it doesn't correlate to vagina, Stanley. That's my point.
I'm not sure we can agree on this particular point.
Okay, so because he's a man, he should just have conquest no matter what, and then you can
cancel
him from being weird, right?
I think by the time you're 27, you should have some experience.
All right. Do you respect why he's not having sex?
No.
This is goofy.
I don't think so. It's not as goofy. It's not as goofy as Nick Fuentes is. That's for sure.
Yeah, he can be quirky or whatever. That might be what his deal is.
No.
But it doesn't make you a man. Some people don't value themselves by how much vagina they get.
I would actually use the word borderline spastic.
But I don't think you're winning this debate as far as.
Oh no, I'm not only am I winning it, I'm trouncing you. Okay. You will never be able to convince me, and I'm kind of a straight-laced guy. You'll never convince me that it's normal for a 27-year-old man to not have any sexual experience in today's America.
No, it's not. Clearly, it's not. The numbers don't agree with it, but some people do things the right way. And I believe is the right way.
Well, maybe
no sex before marriage is not the right way.
Let me help you out here. I was raised Catholic, and I tend to be a fairly straight-laced guy, and I don't think Nick is doing the right thing. I don't think it's the right thing to be 27 years old and not have any sexual experience at all. Now,
you think that's wrong?
Either yes, I do think it's wrong. Either Nick is a fucking liar or he's weird. There's no middle ground there.
So he didn't succumb to peer pressure.
This is coming from a guy who did a lot of right things in his life. I would never recommend my son go 27, be 27, and not have any sort of experience at all.
What is the purpose of this experience?
I do not think it's right.
What is the purpose of this experience? What does that unlock for you?
Well, have you ever heard the term man of the world?
Was it that? No, I've never heard of that. Tell me.
Okay, well, you know what? One of the things, one of the tropes in literature is like a Bildungsroman, where a man, comes from, his teenage hood and gains experience as he gets older. It used to be back in the day, dad might pay for your first whore to get, some sort of experience.
Okay, wait. Where is that? Where is that the proper way to
Okay,
deal with
dude,
anything?
I'm not gonna motherfucking go back and
Okay, well
get
then we
into
don't have
detail.
to. Just
Take
dismiss it. It's
take
fine.
my word for it. 27 is a bit old to be a virgin if you are a male in 2025 United States of America.
Well, we can look at guys
He is almost a unicorn. And if some woman who is his age looked at him askance and didn't even want to fucking date him, I would actually understand that. The motherfucker's a weirdo.
okay. What about a guy like AC Green? And I'm doing the whataboutism.
Okay,
He was an NBA. Wait. He was an NBA player.
I know who AC Green is. He was a fucking weirdo too.
That's a weirdo.
AC Green, yeah.
This is nuts.
No, it's not nuts at all.
So, do you have a problem with a man waiting till he's married to lose his virginity?
I don't have a problem with it as much as it couldn't be me. I would never recommend it, but a man does what a man wants to do. I'm just saying it's a little unusual, if not outright weird, and it shows in behaviors.
Wait, in what ways does it show in behavior?
Dude, Nick Fuentes is a fucking spastic weirdo.
Based on what?
What do you mean? Dude, you want me to go back and show you the videos I was showing from X?
Man, damn it. Because you
don't think Nick you wanted to call it quirky. So there is something unusual in his behaviors.
Sure. I'm not going to disagree there. I'm not going to concede my point to a lesser point, Stanley. I think that the proper way to do it.
I am certainly not expecting you to concede the point. I think it goes without saying that you're simping for a 27-year-old virgin.
No, I'm understanding it because I have a brother. I have a brother who remained a virgin until he was married, and he's made nothing but right decisions ever since.
How old was he? How old was he when he got married?
23, 24. But that was by choice. Like he had some of the baddest. He had some of the baddest women surrounding him.
Even your brother didn't wait till he was almost 30.
No, he got married. His wife was a good woman.
Absolutely. And you know what? I bet he was out there like, oh, hey, I need to find the right woman before I'm fucking 30.
But he was strong in his religion as well, and maybe he had the desire for a woman
being
surrounded by him.
I respect your brother. I also respect him for not waiting until the bark gets hard on the tree. He was 23. 23 is still 23. 23. He's still kind of a sapling.
Right.
He's young. 23.
I can't say I was any smarter at 27.
I think by the time you're 27, you start getting set in your ways.
Yeah, but he still has time. It's not like he's just fucking. He ain't 40. He ain't even 30.
Now, does he have time? Again, by the time, and I know this because, dude, I didn't get married till I was like 39. So I know how you can get set in your ways. You get used to being, kind of set in, hey, I don't ever have to check with anyone if I'm going to spend, say, a large amount of money or something. I actually had to get used to that. Now, 27 is still young relative to 39. All I'm saying is that, dude, you start getting kind of your ways get set in stone the older you get.
But Stanley, I just don't think that a man has to go and conquest women. Like that doesn't prove shit. And I know that this
Okay,
is a norm.
I
This
didn't say he has to go out and conquer women. I'm just saying that by the time you're 27, you should have at least a notch or two on your belt.
but it doesn't prove anything.
I mean,
It
and I
doesn't get
think
you anywhere.
I think if you actively pursue relationships in your early 20s, especially in a time, post 1960s, the sexual revolution and all that, I think it's pretty hard to have gone to college. And by the time you're 27, not have one or two notches. I think it's unusual to the point to where I feel comfortable calling it weird.
All right, that's fair. It is unusual, and it is kind of weird. But I can say he doesn't have the female influence in what he says, like most people, especially black men.
I think he is extremely feminine. If I have to put a word to it,
You can be that, and actually,
I
some
think his
people will say
mannerisms.
he doesn't know if he's gay or not.
I think his mannerisms are questionable. I think he's effeminate.
I'm not disagreeing with none of that because you don't know if
And
he's
I
gay.
don't
He
know.
hasn't
I
had
don't
sex
know.
with anybody.
Now, I'm also not saying, because it's probably not true. I think even if he was knee deep, since he was 12, he would still be a little goofy. But I don't know. It's just, I think having a woman and having to meet some masculine expectations in a relationship, I think he would just be a little bit more manly in his demeanor. Now, I know I'm just sounding like an old cranky old man. I just think that having some testosterone, at a higher than normal level from being, around a woman a lot, having some, I think his I think his I think his testosterone levels have never hit the red line.
Yeah, that may be true, but I do have a problem with you think
You
that
know
a
how,
man should have
back in the
sex with
day,
women for a
back in the
pointless
day,
reason.
you remember, like, back in the day when you would get a new car and you weren't supposed to drive it over a certain speed until it got broken in. I think
Mhm.
Nick Fuentes is kind of like that. He's never been off the lot. he's never had the hormone levels high enough to kind of break him in to masculinity.
Okay, so he didn't participate in like destroying society like we did. You fucked a
I
fat
had
girl in
nothing.
your day.
See, I
You
don't
was
buy
around
into
with
that.
that free
I
love
don't buy
generation.
into
That was
that.
you.
Dude, that boomer bullshit that y'all want to push, we
Which
ruin
one?
shit. Okay, dude, I didn't ruin shit.
Yes, you did. You ruined a woman
Nope,
out there
I'm
for her
afraid
husband.
not.
Yes, you
No,
did. Yes, you
Gen
did.
X,
Because you slept with a
Gen
woman and
X.
you made her, you defiled her. That's what you did.
You know what? This pretend
Hey, me
pious
too.
bullshit.
I'm talking
This
about.
pretend
I'm talking about
this.
us. I had sex before I was married. I had plenty of sex before I was married.
Oh yeah, you know what?
I didn't.
Fuck all that.
I think it
Fuck all
controls
that
some of my
pious
decisions.
bullshit.
Yeah,
This
you know
is
what? Fuck you. I'm
2025,
going there
son.
because that's the
This is
reason why he didn't have sex
2025.
so far.
This is
Stop it.
2025. I'm not gonna buy into that sex before marriage bullshit.
It's not bullshit, Stanley. You know right and wrong. You read the Bible.
I don't think it's wrong
Catholic,
to.
for
I
God's
don't
sake.
think it's. I don't think it's wrong to
You
have
went
sex
against
before
it. You
marriage.
want everybody to
I
be normal with it.
literally do not
All right,
think
all right, all
it
right,
is
all right.
wrong. I don't think it's wrong to have sex before marriage.
But that's not biblical principle, Sam.
I don't give a shit.
So you know why we're here, right?
While we're here, I'm not sure I follow you.
Your salvation is your personal journey. That's your
Dude,
personal.
like I said,
Yeah, you want
I'm
to,
real loose. I'm a cultural Catholic. I don't
yeah,
believe that
cultural.
bullshit. I don't think there's a damn thing wrong with it as long as you're responsible.
I actually do, and I feel guilty every day about how many women I fucking deflowered them.
Yeah,
I
well,
think about that shit.
I'm
I
a
got players
moderation.
remorse,
I'm a
Stanley. I fucked a
moderation.
lot of women in my day.
Okay, well, that's hey, if that you took it to excess, that's a you problem.
Stanley,
I
you
would
don't think you fucked way more than you should have, or maybe you
no.
didn't live yet.
No, you know what? I mentioned on this show a while ago. I joked with my sister, I'm gonna be the only motherfucker on his deathbed wishing he'd been more promiscuous.
Why? You're not promiscuous now. Why did it stop?
I've always been a one woman man. I've had my share of women, but you could never say that I was promiscuous or had a high body count. No, I was pretty responsible. When I was in relationships, they tended to last a while.
Same here, and I'm not talking about 5 months. I'm talking about years.
Well, I think 5 months is a while, especially if you're single. Well, let's get
Okay.
back to this. Let's get
No,
back to
that
this.
was a good spirited debate. I mean, honestly, I think that I can respect a man who holds out and he doesn't fall weak to his temptations. I mean, honestly,
Well, I mean,
I don't know why you can't agree with
I
that.
was very responsible. I've never had kids out of wedlock. Have never had a venereal disease. I've been responsible. Um, but um, I could probably count on two hands the number of partners I've had over the years. I'm pretty picky as well.
I got a list, and I wish I had the stats you had because I know that I know firsthand that I've ruined a woman for somebody else. It wasn't for
I
me. But,
can't say I've ever ruined a woman.
oh, I ruined them.
Okay. I
Ruined.
mean, usually my relationships, I've had a few where, they weren't smiling when we broke up, but, I've never had a knockdown drag out, where we're out on the streets yelling at each other. I don't like drama like that.
Yeah, my ex, my first. I have never told you this, right? So all my kids aren't by the same woman. My baby's by my wife, but my first two was by my last, and that was a 14-year relationship. And I asked her to marry me, and she said, "Sure." Then she threw the ring somewhere out on Oak Street, and I wasn't going to forgive that. That was a very expensive ring, but. My point is, she probably was better off with somebody else, and she's ruined. So I do feel guilty about that, but then again, I don't. She knew what she was doing. I got two kids' mothers. There's the confession.
Well, it is what it is. The thing is that as long as you took care of your kids, I just don't. I mean, did she ever wind up with another man, or did you ruin her on men? And now
Yeah,
did she ever
she's
have another
ruined. She's
relationship?
ruined on men because she watched every female influencer after our relationship, and is just a complete piece of trash at this point.
Well, it is what it is. At
It
least you
is.
have remorse.
I do. I do. Anyway, sorry to
Let's
overshare, but
let's
yeah.
get back to this Uncle Tom. This dude is I mean, that I even took the time to leave a comment. Says something.
On when that's not the problem at all. Okay. Affirmative action. Who created it? Well, 1961, President John F. Kennedy issued a executive order 10925, which was first used the term affirmative action. And it was required that government contractors, not private contractors, but government contractors. And that's
Okay,
key,
this is where
because
he first got my attention. Government contractors are private contractors, but they have government contracts, and it is very correct for the government to put stipulations on their money, especially back in the early 60s, when, you know, Jim Crow was still kind of a thing, though it was going away. Um, Government contractors are private contractors, sir. That's the first problem you're having here.
if I'm a private citizen and I have a business, do I not have a right not to,
Okay, no, if you want that government contract, you're going to follow the terms of the contract. This is the bullshit argument he's making.
hire who I don't want to hire or serve who I don't want to serve?
Okay,
As a
the
private sector
government
business owner,
affirmative action does not require you to hire people you don't want to hire, sir. The fuck?
I have the right to not hire certain people or certain groups, or you got to be dressed a certain way, right?
What happened? Are you muted? Are you muted?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying, how many times in history, I wonder, has it happened where, oh shit, I want to hire this black guy or want to hire this woman, but it just isn't done. So I can't hire him. Okay, it has worked both ways. And these guys who are really not real good at making arguments, you got to consider stuff like that when you make these sorts of arguments.
Signs that say no shoes, no shirt, no service. As a private contractor, I can do that. Okay. But it was issued for government contractors to take affirmative action and to ensure applicants in the government that they would not be denied, but treated fairly with regard to their race, creed, color, or national origin.
And he has problems with that? Really?
This was largely aimed at ending the racism in the federal hiring and the contracting. Okay, and that was credited again by John F. Kennedy in 1961. But again, he's a Democrat. Now, he was a different Democrat. I can't agree with that. He wanted to change the party.
Hey, dumb fuck. If you knew anything about history, you would actually know that Martin Luther King, for instance, and his father were Republicans, and they would have voted for Nixon. And what changed their mind was Martin Luther King was in jail in Alabama, I think it was. And it came down, Richard Nixon had the opportunity to intercede and spring Martin Luther King from jail, and he got cold feet. Kennedy did it. Kennedy took the chance, interceded, and he swung Martin Luther King and Martin Luther King Sr. He made them Democrat voters. Just because Richard Nixon got cold feet. Okay, so he was a different type of Democrat. Well, he had more balls than the Republican did. God, I just hate folks who just don't know what they're talking about. They don't know the history. Either he knows the history and he's making a bad faith argument, or he doesn't know the history and he's coming off as ignorant.
Reform the party and actually change the party over. But that's why they shot him, and that's why they killed him, because no, that was not going to happen. Okay, and that's why that he was assassinated, because that was not going to happen. They were not going to change their party over and actually be fair to the blacks or treat them, with decency and kindness. That was not going to happen. And then in 1965, lo and behold, when the Civil Rights Act movement came to its highest point, where you have the Welfare Act that actually was geared toward Black women to forsake their financial responsibility and kick the Black man out of the house, and to be single,
which didn't happen either.
Kids, and that the Democratic Party, the
Why do
creators
people
of the
say
welfare system, would pay you.
Why do people say that Black men were kicked out of the house?
Yeah, I know my dad wasn't kicked out of the house. My dad paid the bills on the house.
Because they are disingenuous. And I suspect a lot of people have heard, say, a Thomas Sowell or Glenn Lowry or somebody. It's really rhetoric.
I don't know. Maybe
no,
I'm not saying that it's not rhetoric, Stanley.
Look,
hold on. I'm saying, let me say this.
The bottom line is the Black man was not kicked out of the house.
No, the Black man wasn't, but the weak nigga was. Excuse my French.
Yeah, well, you know what? What can you say? But the bottom line is that this is incorrect. And I suspect a lot of people argue from talking points that they've heard without actually going in and verifying some of these talking points. And he strikes me as someone who did. It's all rhetoric. He probably heard it from Thomas Sowell and believed it.
What do you think that morphs into when you have a Black man that wasn't kicked out of the home, and he has sons, and he teaches his sons to be self-sufficient? And what does that morph into? Does that morph into a guy like me who doesn't see like the weak brother argument like these guys do, who rejects it all? Who stands on his own 2 feet and doesn't need a reparations conversation or.
Well, the problem is you may not need it, but someone might. Okay, just because you don't need it doesn't mean other people don't need it.
Why do they need it?
Okay, why is it your business?
Because technically, if reparations were issued, I'm definitely a descendant of a slave.
Okay, here's the deal.
Also Black suffered from redlining and all the other stuff. So
Black people and Americans in general would be much better off if they minded their own business and they are the best they can be. This whole bullshit about minding. Why do other Black people? I did it. Why can't they do it? Fuck that.
Whoa. What's the alternative, though? I just want to make sure you have it.
The alternative is to do the best you can for you and yours and leave it to other people to take care of themselves.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, I'm not talking about you. I'm actually thinking.
I'm not speaking about me either. I'm talking about people who share the same view.
I think this group, this communitarian bent, is outdated. This is 2025, not 1955, not 1945. Okay, and
I agree with you, but why are they saying this still?
Who is they?
The guy like this.
Because he's miseducated, apparently, or can't think for himself. These people are talking so much about thinking for yourself, but they're trying to think for other people.
Man, I'm probably the last guy that needs to have a microphone, because I'll stand on my own too, and I'll break my neck to do it.
Okay,
and that's not the common sentiment.
You ought to spread this to all the other motherfuckers. Okay, there's American Man. There's the whole gulag is talking about the community and how Black people are fucking everything up. Why do they give a fuck? As long as you're not fucking up, why do you care about.
Why should you not give a fuck when you would even
dude,
using their
You
argument? Wait,
should not. Let me tell you why. You should not give a fuck because it's none of your business.
okay. So when black guys
Why
travel,
worry
they
about?
take this.
Why worry about something you can't control and shouldn't control?
We don't. Like everybody gets
No,
painted with the
you'll
same
never
brush.
convince me of that, dude. I have spent how many times have people been talking about Carmelo Anthony out in Texas? Okay, who gives a fuck? That's his parents' problem.
But
Not
the same people that sit on your side of the political aisle also say that one day you're going to get your Negro wake up call.
Okay,
What does that mean?
idea. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I'm saying if you can't turn around and say, hey man, y'all need to straighten up and give
No,
a damn
why the
about
fuck would I
trying.
do
You got
that?
one life. Don't miss your opportunities.
The fuck
Why are they
would I
saying
do
to
that?
people who? Why are they saying to people
The
who are?
person I told that to happens to be my son. That's the end of my responsibility.
I agree with you. But if you're ruining it for a guy like me who's making it happen, if that's the decision if that's what bases somebody's decision on an opportunity for me, that's a problem.
How is Carmelo Anthony ruining it for you?
I'm saying the reputation of this collective that the loud voice wants to have.
Then you know what? Then what you should rightly be railing against is whoever it is that's making your reputation. Okay. Carmelo Anthony isn't the problem. The fucking racism is the problem. Okay. Your reputation should be made by you and your performance. The same dumb fucks talking about meritocracy, those are the people you should have a problem with.
Why? No, not why.
Because
meritocracy is what got me this far.
You literally just said your reputation is being affected by people who are not you.
That's why you could turn around and criticize them. And what's wrong with you saying why should you care?
Okay, no, absolutely not, Dave. Don't give me that bullshit. The people you need to be criticizing are whoever it is talking about your reputation.
Nah. Because that's that 70%
don't blame me.
Was talking about
Don't blame me for that motherfucking 1935 bullshit thinking. Okay, it should be whoever it is, like the B-Brays of the world talking about the 70% allowing shit. Dude, what happens in the ghetto has not a goddamn thing to do with me. And anybody who wants to come to me and ask me about, well, why aren't black people doing this, that, or the other? My response is, fuck you. I don't control them.
I share the same response.
Don't come to me.
Why am I able to entertain both sides of this argument? And you're dismissing
because you don't have a standard is why.
I do have a standard. The standard that I don't think you do.
You literally just said you are able to consider both sides. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm presenting this because it is a conundrum.
I don't think it's well, see, you think it's a conundrum. I don't. I think it's cut and dried. If a dumb fuck wants to come up here and ask me why is the crime rate such as it is in the inner city, I'm going to tell them I don't give a fuck. Now, if you want to present this as a thought experiment, sure, I'm willing to sit down and throw some theories out there. But if you're implying that I should be concerned about it for real, fuck you. I don't live in the ghetto. It's their problem, not mine. If I lived there, it would be my problem, but I don't. And for those who want to, be concerned about what's happening in Chicago or what's happening down in Frisco, Texas with with Carmelo Anthony, good luck to you. I have better things to do.
Well, if it's not,
Carmelo Anthony has parents. They don't need me worrying about it. They don't need me doing shows about it.
all right.
So let's get back to this misguided young man.
Dividends. And so Lyndon B. Johnson expanded it in Executive Order 11246, which required federal contractors to take affirmative action and to ensure equal employment, right? Equal employment. And Johnson gave his famous 1965 speech at none other than Howard University, okay? A black college, and promoted this when all the while this was the same person that was caught on tape saying, I'm going to have these ends voting Democrat for the next 200.
Okay, now what he doesn't do is tell you also what Johnson said about the fucking poor whites. He somehow or another doesn't. It's the same president who literally said these. And I'm paraphrasing. Hey, the poor crackers. You just feed them some racist bullshit, and you can put your hands in their pocket, dude.
I forgot how that thing went. Yeah, I remember. I know what you're talking about.
I can find the exact quote. You know what? The motherfucker. He was a little bit of a problematic personality, but you know what? Let me and when he said this earlier, I actually thought to myself that you do realize that you can go back to the days of the abolitionists. Many abolitionists wanted to end slavery, but they didn't think black people were equal. Fuck, Lincoln, if Lincoln had his way, he would have shipped everybody over to Africa or Haiti or somewhere like that. And by the way, there was an experimental group of people, African Americans, sent to, I think it was what is now the Dominican Republic, just to test the waters. There was like a little test of settlement. Okay, abolitionists, the folks who wanted to end slavery, they didn't think black people were equal. They just would have preferred that, hey, they need to leave the country because black and white people cannot live together. So my point is that doing the right thing doesn't necessarily mean you want to do the right thing. There are a lot of people, who do things because, it's the right thing to do, but left to their own devices, they'd be doing the wrong thing. So I don't think this argument that he's making, really, it's not that good an argument. The guy can think what the fuck he wants to think as long as he's doing the right thing.
I think he's still black, and that's his problem. You can't be a man and black at the same time.
Say that? You can't be a man and black.
Yeah, you gotta choose.
Okay,
I know that came out of nowhere.
Well, no, I actually understand because, if you want to go and start looking at, kind of the critical theory way of looking at things, freedom in America is racialized. Okay, only white people can truly be free in a racist culture like the United States. Everybody, all the non-whites basically have freedom at the whim of the white people. If the
they're surely giving that power away.
If the white people want to take your freedom away, it can actually happen.
It won't happen.
Okay, well, it won't happen, but it could happen. And your thing about you can either be black or a man, that is quintessential American culture. There are a lot
Yeah,
of people who.
I
There are a
choose
lot
man.
of
I put my
people.
manhood
Look at
before my
look
blackness
at
every
Nick.
day.
Look at Nick Fuentes calling like Jason Whitlock a fucking Uncle Tom. Okay, that doesn't imply that that Nick Fuentes respects Jason Whitlock as any sort of man. So, in the mind of someone like a Nick Fuentes, your statement is absolutely correct.
Nick Fuentes, that's what you got?
He literally called Jason Whitlock and the other people. He literally called them Uncle Toms. That does not imply that he respects Jason Whitlock as a man.
Okay.
Years. Why am I against affirmative action? Because we don't need to hire on race or color or if you're black or meet some
That's a
quota
show
or
title
build
right
some
there.
business that they got to hire 10 black people. No, we should hire on merit. Can you do the job? Are you qualified? Do you have the skills?
Okay, and what this dumb fuck doesn't understand is that a lot of no, he's literally a dumb fuck. Okay, he does realize that a lot of white people will bring it up that the average black IQ is less than what is it, a standard deviation less than the average white IQ. There are people who just basically think there are very few black people who even measure up to a standard that would be, considered in a meritocracy. He doesn't seem to understand that. He still thinks that the Amy Waxes of the world will give a black person a fair shot. They just a priori, they just without even, if I see a black person, more than likely that person is not going to measure up IQ wise to a white person. So the meritocracy argument really doesn't work here because especially back in the early 60s, a lot of white people wouldn't even give a second thought that a black person could measure up in a meritocracy. These guys are really kind of pathetic when they put out these arguments. Not very well thought out at all. And I think a lot of times he could actually, you're kind of right. He could actually use coming up on a panel where these sorts of just half-witted ideas get interrogated and interrogated closely and no holds barred. I would literally call him an idiot.
Well, Stanley,
making
in
this
order
sort
to
of
get
argument.
that, you have to like be nice. I don't think you
Fuck that.
exercise that. No, you have
No.
to have a proper approach. Your approach is so brash.
No.
Even though nobody
No,
said you was
I'm
wrong.
sorry.
Nobody said you was wrong.
I'm not gonna sit here with a motherfucker with gray in his beard and treat him like a high school kid. I expect better.
There is some tutelage that's gonna have to happen. You have to teach.
Dude, I'm not motherfucking tutoring a guy with gray in his beard.
But you are the elder.
I'm not that much older.
You don't want to step into that role, but you are the elder.
Okay, all I have to say is, dude,
Be nice.
I'm
Stanley.
one of these elders. Dude, I've always been like, if I tell you something 2 times, I expect you to get it. Maybe a 3rd time. This guy would be asking me all kinds of stupid questions.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
at first, but he's got a brain to think, and you can't say
Well,
that
I
me
don't think
sitting
he
in
does.
chat.
That's
I
questionable.
didn't learn nothing from you. That's not true. I've learned a lot.
All I
from
have to say is I'm always willing to. I would literally tell him, you know what? Here's a book. Read up on it, and then come back and see if you think that argument you're giving me will work. I wouldn't be sitting here lecturing him. I'd just tell him what to read.
And that's better than him just saying the shit he thinks.
Right. And I mean, you probably have to take some time to actually read. I just think the arguments he's making are really just amateurish. It's, I mean, it's almost embarrassing.
Yeah, I know the feeling. But yeah,
Do you
that you
have the
have to believe
schooling?
in
Do you
collect.
have the
You have to believe in
experience?
the
That's
collective
how we should
to
hire.
be
Right.
embarrassed.
Affirmative action is a knock to the intelligence of any black man or any black woman. Okay, if you have the lower down the standard for me and meet a quota just to hire a certain amount of black people, right? Even though that we're unskilled, we're unqualified, and we can't do the work, that's an insult to my intelligence, and you shouldn't hire me. You
Okay,
I agree. I agree.
okay. Well, let me put it to you this way. You making this shitty argument, this amateurish argument, I have no reason to think you even have intelligence.
That's a Clarence Thomas argument.
And you know what? I think
Shitty,
a lot of
right?
times, you know what? Let me show you something that down in the comments.
That's
Um,
a Clarence Thomas argument, though.
yeah, and it's a shitty argument even when Clarence Thomas makes it.
You're gonna argue with
Okay,
the Supreme Court judge?
absolutely I would.
I
Why wouldn't I?
disagree with you. I agree with Clarence.
Okay, well, you can agree with Clarence, but you know what? It's a bad argument. My response right here, I don't know if you can actually see it. I write here that if affirmative action nor DEI are needed, then why is this video even needed? If we need to, if we need to let businesses know we are capable, then why don't they believe we are already a priori? Basically, what I'm saying here is that if currently we don't need affirmative action or DEI, why do we need a video telling us that we don't need it? We already know it. Okay,
Whoa.
and if
What?
businesses, if we need to let businesses know that, oh hey, we're capable, we're intelligent, well, why don't they already think this? Why do we have to go and tell them or explain why they shouldn't have a stereotype? Basically, we're not at a point to where you can walk into a business and they just automatically assume that, oh hey, this guy might be qualified. They're going to assume that we aren't qualified in too many cases. Not every case, but in too many cases. And my second paragraph here is this monologue of his is either uninformed of American history or from a future post-racial America. That was a joke where, you know, he's already in the future and he's just sending this message back to us from the future like Terminator. So he responded to me. He said that this video was made to give blacks knowledge on why we don't need DEI, affirmative action, and we thrived under Jim Crow. And he asked, why did we thrive under Jim Crow? And my response was, we didn't thrive under Jim Crow. Some did, most did not thrive under it. Also, there were limits on potential. Okay, Jim Crow literally was kind of like a glass ceiling. You could grow within your community, but you could never have like franchises in other cities or states. You were limited as to how successful you could be under Jim Crow. And then I asked him, well, um, I asked him, I said, there are plenty. Okay, I said, we didn't thrive under Jim Crow. Some did, most didn't. Also, there were limits on potential. And then I add, there are plenty history books that back up my point. So there was another guy who responded to me. He literally tells me there's no use debating with a black person who claims we thrived under Jim Crow. The irony is in how they criticize African Americans for insulting their intelligence while doing a fine job of that themselves. basically, this guy's argument is an insult to his own intelligence. No person who had any idea of American history would ever make the arguments he's making. They are literally ahistorical. Like he doesn't know the history. I don't know what his problem is, but this is not a good argument that he's making. And
But
Clarence Thomas, I don't think Clarence Thomas makes these sorts of arguments. His tend to be a little bit more sophisticated. This guy should not be making this video because I don't know how he could be taken seriously.
You should hire
Yeah.
me because I can do the
You
job.
make a good
You should
point.
hire me because I have the skills. You should hire me because when I interviewed, I was able to articulate.
Okay,
a
no,
model that I'm-
Zhang. No one is making the argument that DEI is white supremacy. DEI actually is nothing like affirmative action. I guess maybe companies went and kind of turned it into affirmative action. Quotas went out in the late 80s. Okay, no business fucking does quotas. At least they don't leave evidence of using quotas that the government could find because it's illegal. Okay. Meritocracy. I'm gonna actually say meritocracy is not synonymous with white supremacy, but the rules of the meritocracy are prone to white supremacy. And I literally just said that there are too many companies that just automatically believe that a black is not qualified. Let me give you a good example. I think I told you, Dave, specifically that at some point when I lived in Norfolk, I basically took the GRE because I was thinking I wanted to get a master's in public administration. And you know, this may not be the best example, but I went and told, I went to the head of the public administration department. I can't remember if it was specifically that, or maybe it was under maybe it was under political science or something. But anyway, I told the guy who administrated it, I made a set up an appointment with him, and I said, "Hey, look, you know, this is what I got on my GRE. What can you offer me? You know, I don't have the money. You know, what I'm looking for is a research assistantship, you know, something basically a scholarship." He said, "Well, you know, if what you say is true." And I'm thinking to myself, well, motherfucker, why would I come all the way here, make an appointment, and tell you what my GRE is if it wasn't true? Oh, I killed the GRE. But just that little remark, and he probably didn't even mean anything by it, but it did catch my attention. Why the fuck would I come here and say I did something that I didn't do? That is a good example of a meritocracy. It's almost as if he couldn't believe that a black man could get a really good score on the GRE. That is the state of our meritocracy. They don't just automatically assume that, hey, this guy could be who he says he is. You have to fucking, you know, withstand their scrutiny. American meritocracy, shit. Dude, the white supremacy even affects white people. Elites get around meritocracy all the time. A lot of times it's nepotism or who you know or the old boys network, something like that. There are plenty of people who are kind of mediocre but wind up as president of the United States. Trump is the perfect example. If we were going by meritocracy, Trump would never be president. His daddy had to buy his way into Wharton. Trump has an Ivy League degree, but his daddy had to buy it for him, and he transferred into UPenn. You know, I don't know whether he had to make grades at a junior college or just what the deal was, but his daddy basically paid for a building or something to get him in. So this meritocracy, it's not an actual meritocracy, and it is very susceptible to white supremacy or, racism, if you don't want to call it white supremacy.
I'm a decent and good employee, and I'm going to show up on time, and I'm going to abide by the laws of the business. But you don't hire me because you have to meet some quota. That is not
There is
what
no
we're
such
about.
thing
And
as
then
DEI
again, who is the party
ideology,
that
Jay.
is implementing this? It's the Democratic Party. Once again, trying to keep Black America in their back pocket. See what we're doing for you. See what we're giving you. See how we're helping you. See, we done gave you affirmative action, when all the while it's a not.
Well, to a certain extent, I agree with that. Black people in 2024, Yvette Carnell, kind of siding with the MAGA point of view about immigration. To me, I would be too embarrassed to still admit, 60 years after affirmative action, that we're still competing with fucking immigrants over Black jobs. I think that if there had actually been a real idea of acting as a community, we would have forced our kids to study and excel. There should be no fucking I have to worry about getting, illegals out of the country because they're interfering with our jobs. That's bullshit. Neurosurgeon should be a Black job, as much as, out there putting roofing on a house. And that we are in direct competition with people who are, undocumented aliens. That's actually kind of a shame. If we had leadership, that's the failure point.
On Black
And
girls and Black
putting
boys.
ourselves in a position where we have to vote for one party because they give us affirmative action or they're pro affirmative action, that is a failure of leadership.
Is intelligence. You don't have to lower the standards for me. Black is beautiful, Black is capable, Black is intelligent, and Black is just enabled to do the work and to meet the test scores and to do the jobs that we're hired for. We are just as smart.
Well, to a certain extent, Con, I'm actually probably farther right when it comes to affirmative action and the like. I agree that it's necessary, but I also agree that the Black community as a collective, we were very human, and very human in that, oh hey, we've got affirmative action, we'll be okay. We should have kept driving. Okay, we should have basically, I make the joke about Asian excellence, but I'm also half serious. We really should have been almost tiger momish as a group. And it didn't happen that way. But I do agree that, we at this stage of the game are much too dependent on the largesse of Democrats, who are just as racist as the Republicans, just in a different way.
And we are just as capable. And that's what we have to start showing people. Okay, DEI
tell
is
that
another
to the
form
Amy
of
Waxes.
affirmative action. You have to hire amount, right?
What's
certain
up,
amount
Lee?
of Black people, meet a quota, even though that we're unqualified and we don't have the skills and we didn't go to school and we can't compete. I don't think that that's what we need to do. We need to show our Black, young boys and girls that we are just as capable through hard work, through perseverance, through endurance, that we can do the work and that we're just as able to compete with any other group of people that are out there. Okay. And that's what we need to do. Affirmative action is nothing more than a dangling carrot over the Black neighborhood and Black people to say, look what I'm doing for you. Look how that I'm helping you. And we don't need that. We need to understand that we are hired on merit. Okay. Our skills, culpability, our capability, okay, our individuality, that we can do the work. We are just as smart. Black is beautiful. Okay. Black is intelligent. Black is smart. Black is educated. And that's what I'm promoting. See, I want you to understand that you got to get off the Democratic plantation. You got to stop feeding into the system that has been with us.
Okay, dude, this is such a dude. Have you kept up with with what's going on the Republican plantation? Dude, both parties are pretty foul. And you sitting there picking on the Democrats when you literally have a leader in the MAGA party calling people like Jason Whitlock, calling them tokens. Talk about tunnel vision and just like not being self-aware. Dude, it's almost embarrassing.
We were freed 450 years ago. We're no longer victims. America is not racist toward us and trying to keep us held down.
America is fundamentally racist. Okay. And again, this does not come out in individuals. There is no way you can start. There's no way a country like the United States with inbuilt systems that suppress non-whites, it's impossible not to have these sorts of things as a hangover without tearing everything down and rebuilding it. Okay. And not understanding that, it's real. Actually, I think we do our kids a disservice by pretending that this stuff is not out there. It's literally built into the laws. You go in, as soon as you start having the Voting Rights Act, Section 5, I think, was the last one that went to the Supreme Court. As soon as this happens, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, they all just go to town re-gerrymandering shit. Okay, that's not a coincidence. As soon as Justice Roberts just goes, oh, hey, America is colorblind, as soon as you start hearing bullshit like the Constitution is colorblind, no sooner than you implement that than these state legislatures go in and start redrawing districts. That's not a coincidence. That is literally racism. As soon as you take out a check, they just automatically go to put things back the way they were. That's just one example. The other example is this idea that if a law doesn't, if you can't prove that a law has racist intent, the outcomes are just basically an act of God. I think that's bullshit too. That is literally systemic racism.
Yeah, but again, it's not really even racism. It's hatred for another group of people, which God.
And hearing Clarence Thomas say that the Constitution is colorblind, dude, I almost did a spit take. It's like, motherfucker, have you ever read the pre-Civil War Constitution? It was not colorblind. And even if you want to talk about the 13th, dude, there's a 13th Amendment outlawing slavery. Who the fuck else were slaves? these guys are really just like in embarrassment. How can I think black shit? Dude, I'm black and I might be thinking that, gee, blacks aren't that intelligent making these kinds of arguments.
God does not like. Jesus does not show favoritism. One race is not better than the other. Even when it comes to the Jews, we have the biblical mandate. God telling Jews, why did I choose you? I didn't choose you because you were smart or better or you were some special group of people. God said, I chose you because I loved you.
Okay, God isn't running the meritocracy, sir.
Right? So even in that context, the Jews are not better than anyone else. They've been chosen out of love. We've been chosen out of love. And every other group of people that are here has been chosen out of love. Do we need affirmative action as a black culture? No, we do not. We need hard work. We need to let people know that we're just as smart. We're just as capable.
Now listen to this silly motherfucker. Okay, as a black culture, that's your first mistake. And the second mistake is black people aren't working hard now. See, this is very John Galt here. Okay, you think you need to tell black people to work hard? Motherfucker, most black people work hard.
And that we can do the work. Now, in my state where I live in California, interesting enough, a man by the name of Ward Connerly, okay? Ward Connerly was a black businessman and a former university graduate of California. And he spearheaded the cancellation of affirmative action in California. Proposition 209.
By the way, whether it's a feature or a book, okay, Conshonery, this idea that racism is part of human nature is bullshit. Okay, don't ever bring an argument like that to me because I will shred it and again laugh once I'm done with it. Okay, race didn't even exist before the Enlightenment, and we got along just fine without the concept of race. Okay, so this racist behavior is like human nature. That's demonstrably false.
What's also known as the California Civil Rights Initiative in 1996 was spearheaded by him. Now, this is another black man. This is another black man looking through the lens that I'm looking through and trying to tell other black people we are capable.
Okay,
we're
no, I don't think that behaviors inevitably lead to racism or racist beliefs. Human nature doesn't lead to that. Look, the bottom line is slavery was an economic thing, and the racism came to justify the slavery, not the other way around. People didn't become slaves. Africans weren't enslaved because they were inferior race. They were enslaved basically, well, because the Arabs did it before the Europeans, and the Europeans found that, oh, hey, this is an economic engine we can use. We will justify it. Okay, if you'll recall, slavery pre-existed slave codes. The slave codes came to be because there were all kinds of loopholes and blacks could get out of being slaves, and essentially the loopholes had to be closed. Okay, slavery was economic, and the justification for slavery came after. So I don't buy the argument that, you know, the need to classify things and the need to, you know, put things in a certain order leads to racism. Nah, I don't think that's inevitable.
We don't need affirmative action. We don't need people to lower the standards and to lower
Let me help you out again. Slavery in the United States and the West in general was inherently racist. It was race-based slavery, so it was inherently racist. Only Black people at some point in American history were slaves. It was inherently racist. Now, slavery in other parts of the world, no, it wasn't necessarily inherently racist. It became that in the United States and the West overall.
What is that their job to try to hire us when we're not capable, or we don't meet the standards, or have the requirements, nor have the qualifications for the job?
Racism is a system that enforces race. That's the definition of racism. It's simple. Race came before racism. Racism is a systemic way of enforcing race. It's not that hard, Con.
Okay. So again, this man saw that this was a knock to the Black people. This was not who we are.
It's extremely simple
that can fight.
And the other thing, I
Crow.
remember some folks kind of going after Ibrahim Kendi about using race in the definition of racism. They were moronic. Okay, racism is systematized race. You need things like black codes to enforce a racial system of economics, basically. And I don't know. See, I think it's too easy to go, well, race is a natural part of human nature. That's lazy as shit thinking. And I love ripping the band-aids off. Y'all get real comfortable going, oh, it's inevitable. Nah, it's easily proven that it's not inevitable. It just went that way because it was convenient and it was economically, sound, I guess. No, I didn't lose the plot, Con. I'm 100% right. I can give you books that will back up what I'm saying. You need to do the hard work, Con, not me.
We prospered. We advanced. 70 to 80%.
Unfortunately, I'm not wrong. Like I said, Con, I've done the prerequisite homework, justify my
mom
argument.
And the father, and that's what made us strong. That's what made us able to do and to be. We had black businesses. We had black homes.
Race is not biological, Con.
Okay. Now this is under Jim Crow. This is under antebellum South of segregated fountains, segregated restaurants, segregated neighborhoods, segregated schools. I mean, it was rough.
You 100% have not done your homework.
Somehow we were outpacing
and I can tell
white people
by the way you're pushing back. You haven't
grow them when it came to money
reading up
and when it came to family.
You're just going off
guess
the
who
top
came up
of
with
your
the
head.
greatest coup of them all?
A lot of
Lyndon B. Johnson.
A lot of these racism
1964.
arguments are counterintuitive. It is very intuitive to justify race as the inevitable result of the human need to classify everything. It's counterintuitive, but that's not, race is not an inevitable outcome of the need to classify everything. In other words, there is a universe where race is not inevitable. And if you don't see that, I'm not going to sit here and fucking fuss back and forth. I've read on the topic for decades. You obviously have not.
Civil Rights Act destroyed the black neighborhood took the black man out of the house, which was the leader,
Brooklyn,
the epicenter, the guider,
blacks
the
aren't
protector,
the only race,
the provider.
so the answer would be
The
no.
prophet and the priest of his home took him out of the home and incentivized the woman to marry the government and forsake her financial responsibility and to forsake her significant other, her husband. This was all done by the Democrats. This was not an accident. Us joining the civil rights movement was not what we needed to do.
And
We needed to stay
this is another,
independent. We needed to stay segregated, but not.
This is another weak ass argument that I get tired of dealing with. Everything is the Democrats. Everything is the Democrats. Like the Democrats are the only racists in America. What a tired ass argument. And it's just lazy.
Equal, because we thrived, we advanced, and we had things. So when Prop 209 was banned again, okay, it got rid of race, sex, color, and religion. And this is what we still stand for right now here.
Nope, it didn't get rid of them at all, son. You need to rethink that point.
Today. And what's funny about this bill is it passed overwhelmingly.
I'm gonna try to get this brother to come over here.
Vote
Hold on.
in California.
Khan, again, it's counterintuitive. The imperative to express a preference within your lineage, bullshit. Okay. Number one, race is not biological. Okay. So it does not follow. You can't take a non-biological classification and make an argument that it's biological. It's some sort of biological imperative. It simply does not work that way. And you as a fucking scientist should be the first to not make this sort of argument. Seriously, dude, you're a fucking science major and you will basically say a non-biological thing is a biological imperative. You can definitely do better than that. Okay, dude, you have spoken. Okay, let me help you out here. You have spoken to biologists and they're shit biologists. There is no biological thing as race.
Sean, don't let him get that shit off on you, bro.
Literally, phenotype is not race. There is no such thing as biological race. So either you have been talking to biologists who were trained back in the early 20th century, or you're talking to a bunch of racists who happen to have biology degrees.
Don't let that shit ride, Sean.
Okay.
Come up here and give him a piece of your mind.
Okay, dude, you might want to hold up 1 second. Okay, it is a completely uncontroversial claim, Stanley. Khan, you have been listening to a bunch of racists with biology degrees. If you ever go and you actually do your homework, there's no way you're ever going to be able to justify that it's uncontroversial. They did a whole motherfucking genome project. They literally sequenced the human genome, and those scientists will be the first to tell you that there is no biological basis for race. So it's completely controversial. And if you're a racist, you believe race is biological. That's
Stanley.
simple. Oh, no, don't interrupt me.
Oh, I just got one thing to say.
Well, then it can wait. The controversy is someone thinking that race is biological. I don't even know. Dude, you got a fucking physics degree and you think race is biological? Tisk. So what do you have to say, Dave?
Stanley, I mean, are you a racist or no? I'm asking.
I wouldn't call myself one, but I mean, we all. I don't think it's possible to grow up in United States culture and not be a racist.
I'm not a racist, Stanley.
I'm afraid that would be hard for me to believe. And I grew up in American culture, so I don't think anyone gets out alive if you're born in U.S. culture.
But you know I don't go by race, so by definition
Okay,
I'm not a racist.
motherfucker,
Am I
dude, I
missing
hear
something?
as soon as you say that, oh hey, what happens, you know, out in the black community in another part of the country affects your reputation, you're a racist.
No, I'm a victim of
No,
racism.
no. You are a racist. If you think your reputation can be affected by something that, say, Carmelo Anthony did, you're a racist.
I definitely didn't use Carmelo Anthony as an example.
Okay, you did say that a lot of these things, like high crime rates in the quote black community, affect your reputation. Did you not?
No, I did not say that. That's
Okay,
what you said.
Dave, let's not kid each other.
No,
Okay,
Stanley, you're
you,
more of a racist than me.
no, actually, I don't see how that's possible.
Actually, by that, just sticking to the logic that you just laid out, actually, it's
Do
true
you
because I
think
don't
that?
go by race.
Do you think there's a black community?
No,
Okay, I've heard you talk, Dave. You're a racist.
okay, so are you then? I mean, like, I'm not. I don't think I'm a
I'm
racist.
not.
Like, I
I'm
don't
not
go by race.
claiming. I'm not claiming. I don't think of myself as one. However, I did say I don't think you can be born in American culture and not be a racist. I don't think
I'm
that's
not. I
possible.
am not going for a gotcha moment. I'm not. I'm really not.
Oh, I don't give a dude. There's no way you could get me. It would be rare.
I
As I
know.
said, I don't
I
think you can
respect
be
that.
born. I don't think you can be born into American culture and not be a racist. Some more racist than others, of course, but I don't think anyone gets out alive.
So you're a racist.
Okay, I guess I'll say I am.
Can I explain why I am not?
I don't really care. I I've already agreed with you. I don't need to know your reasons.
All right, I think I'm at my point.
Well, sure you do. But I think I covered it when I said I think it's impossible to be born in the United States of America and not be a racist. You're gonna be a colorist. You're gonna notice because you're trained to notice. Almost from the
Yeah,
time
sure.
you're a by the time you're kindergarten, by the time you're in kindergarten, you already have a concept of hey of race. And I've told the story about my son coming home from kindergarten one day and said, "Oh, hey, so and so called me a mulatto." I know, I know. I'd never taught him the word. I don't think his mother had, but he learned it, from some white kid in kindergarten. There's no way you can be, uh, go to an American school and not come out, with a concept of race. And I think believing in a concept of race makes you a racist. I also say a second way is I think if you tolerate racists, you're a racist. And I sure as fuck tolerate a bunch of racists on this on this channel.
Yeah, you're thrown into the
Dude,
fire
dude,
whether you
if
like it or
if
not.
I had to be judged by the people I associate with, I'm fucking a Klan member.
No, you're very pragmatic, and I think that that's what causes you to have to fight these fights like that.
I'm fighting them mostly just because I can. I have no illusions that I'm going to convince Khan Shanery, for instance, that that America is inherently racist. Um, I'm not going to convince him tonight, anyway, that it is not a biological imperative uh, that race be an inevitable outcome of the need for humans to classify stuff. I don't buy that logic, and I have reasons for thinking that. And again, I've done a whole lot of reading over, say, since college, really. So there's no biological basis for race. Uh, Trying to say there's a biological imperative for a concept that is non-biological, eh, that's kind of a tenuous argument.
Word.
So let's finish up with Mr. Tom or Uncle Tom
California
here.
voted for this to be done away with, canceled affirmative action. So all kids in California got to take the SAT. They have to meet a certain score. They have to meet the standards. They have to work hard. They have to come home, do their homework. They got to study to show themselves approved. Okay. Which is a good thing because that's what we need. We need hard work. We need ethic. We need to be shown that we can do the work, and we need to be.
And see, this is just fucking ridiculous. If you were just some Martian who just landed listening to this guy, you would think black people don't work hard at all. This is about the most racist thing I've heard a black person say, probably not even intentionally. Where does he think that black people need to be counseled to work hard, especially if you're not a child? He's literally infantilizing. He's infantilizing black people in America. Like he needs to tell black people to work hard. This is like, if it weren't so pathetic, it'd be hilarious.
Put in a position of where we are working and not getting handouts. Okay. And that's what we need
No,
to do.
Stanley, you see where I say
And
that that's
so
not manly because he
this
wants to
man
be
was
black?
awesome. Okay. He also did some.
This is why I say you can't be both. That was not a manly thing to say because he's choosing to be black.
What's not a manly thing to say?
Just saying anything starting a sentence off with we. Worry about yourself, like me and you do, because now you're less
Well, I
than
mean,
that.
the funny thing is, and I was talking, I've talked with American Man about this a couple times. I think the fucking anti-black blacks are the most pro-black.
Yeah,
They literally,
yeah,
they
I agree with
literally
that.
think, they literally think that all black people, uh, want to band together. They literally think that they are being leaders when they get on a YouTube show and go, "Black people need to work harder." I think that's about as pro-black as you can possibly get.
It's so pro-black that it comes off as anti-black because it's a contradiction.
Exactly.
It's a contradiction to
Exactly.
actually want better and then say it out loud because then you're anti. But if you really want better, it makes you pro-black, and it's
Well,
a
I mean,
vicious
I
cycle.
want better. I want better Americans. I want better white people. I want better black people. I just want a better humanity.
But here's the thing:
Okay, but
if you do it
but
through
what
shame,
I
you're
want,
anti-black.
okay, no, I'm not anti-black. I'm anti-stupid.
No, not you. A John Galt would do it through shame. If you do it through shame, then you're
Well,
anti-black.
every time a black person does something that, is heinous, John Galt thinks there's a lesson for all black people. Look at the blacks. He literally thinks that every negative thing that a black person does is a reflection on every black in America, which I think is just ridiculous.
There is some monolithic thought that people share. that.
Okay, I
Okay,
can
so
tell
there's
you
a
right.
no. Let me
I
say it
can
like
tell
this:
you
there's
right
a
now.
plane that he sees where that's logical.
If anybody ever comes to me, like Be Brave, for instance, talking about how the black collective tolerates high crime in the inner city, I think that is absolutely retarded. That's about
Well,
as racist. That's about as racist a thing anybody could say. Dude, I've never fucking lived in the ghetto. Why would I be responsible for it? I have no clue what goes on in the ghetto. But how am I
be-
going to be responsible for it? How am I going to tolerate it?
in a friend circle, when somebody fucks up and the rest of the friends shame that person, it actually works. So you can't do it on a
Okay,
bigger
so you
scale.
literally want to say a friend circle is the same as a quote black community? That's ridiculous.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
that is so low impact. If you
No,
weren't on
it's
the
just a
pan, if you
smaller.
weren't
It's a
on the,
smaller.
if you weren't
It's
my
a smaller
buddy
group.
and
That's
on
all.
my panel, I'd be roasting the shit out of that
Well, I wouldn't
fucking
say this
idiotic.
independently because I said it under a provoked circumstance. On a grander scale,
There is
it
no
kind of
such thing.
is.
There is no such thing as a grand friend group.
Well, when I came up, everybody knew my last name in the neighborhood. That it was a black community.
Okay,
There is not that anymore. It's not gonna ever be that again, and it ain't gonna be that going
your
further.
immediate neighborhood is a community.
Right, but it ain't. It's not that anymore. That's what I'm saying. That's what depleted.
Okay,
I
well
don't know my neighbor's name.
that's kind of a separate issue. All I'm saying is that one,
Oh,
we are not our brother's keeper.
Stanley, with all due respect, that is right there. If you can't understand that concept, I'm not saying you don't,
No,
then that is your inability
I
to
do
draw that
not
out
understand.
into a larger
I do
scale. You
not
can't.
understand the concept. I am not your keeper. I'm not Carmelo Anthony's keeper. I'm not some Negro out on the West Coast keeper. I'm
Black
my
or white, do
keeper.
you talk to your
I
neighbors? Do
don't
you?
give a fuck. I am
No,
not
no. Do you talk to your neighbor,
my
your
brother.
right
I
immediate
am not.
next door neighbor?
Dude, I know who my neighbors are, but I'm
Do
not
you talk to
responsible for them.
them? Do you talk to them?
When I see them, sure.
Okay. Do you know their last name?
Yes.
Do you know if they're good people or not?
As far as I know, they are.
They're good because they don't fuck with you, or they're good because they actually like do
No,
something
they're
when.
good because they don't fucking make a lot of noise and inconvenience me. But
Right.
beyond being my neighbor, I have no clue.
Do you think that their daughter could date your son?
Uh,
Oh
sure,
no,
why not?
are they peers to your son?
Um, well, my immediate neighbor's son is a year younger, so yeah, when they were young, they used to play together. The daughter's like way older than my son by like 3 or 4 years. Um, so I mean,
And
yeah, I guess if they were the same age, they could, but I fail to see your point. I'm not responsible
and
for them.
okay, within a 1 block radius, can you say that about everybody on your
Yes,
block? Because
and get to your point. I'm not
okay,
responsible
because
for
that's
them.
back when it was a community. People don't
Okay,
do
I
that
have
no
no
more.
fucking clue where you're going with this.
Whether
All
you're
I'm
black or
saying,
not, you're in the
all I'm
community. You're
saying,
contributing to
all
a
I'm
community. You
saying,
guys inject
I
race on
am
this
not
bullshit.
my neighbor's keeper.
Nobody said that.
Okay, then what's your point?
The A community, whether all your neighbors are black, would be a black community. And that is not what it is anymore. I came from a black
Okay,
community,
so
meaning
what?
like, let me finish my point. Meaning that everybody on my block was black, and
So,
everybody knew each other, knew each other's last name, knew the mother and father of the home, or just whether it was a mother or just the father. Everybody knew each other. It's not that anymore on that level, because that would be
okay,
considered a black
so
community.
what does that have to do with my point?
What is your point again?
Okay, my point is that I don't give a fuck what happens in Chicago or Atlanta
Nobody's talking
even.
about Chicago.
Okay, the point that
This is why
what
some people
happened. Okay,
believe in a
dude,
community and some people
hold
don't.
on one sec. What happens in some black community 500 miles away does not affect my reputation at all. And if there are people who think it does, then they're the problem, not the crime in that community. If people are judging me by high crime rates that happen 500 miles away, the problem is with the judge, not the crime 500 miles away.
You know, this is so circular. It's not even funny. I can make a point that there is a community, whether it's
Okay,
black or
and I would
mixed or
would
white.
shit on the point.
No, you cut me off before I could keep the same train
I
of thought.
dude,
You
I
know,
don't I'm
I
not
think
I
you
don't
realize
owe
what my
you I
weaknesses are,
don't
and you
owe
exploit
you
them.
hey, I don't
You
owe it to
exploit my
you to put up
weaknesses, Stanley. I get
I
it.
don't owe it
I
I
can't
don't
keep the
owe it
point because you're
I
gonna
do
gift
not
gallop,
owe it
blood
to
design, the
you.
whole nine.
I don't owe it to you to put up with foolishness.
I'm not, and I wouldn't. But if I knew my neighbor's name,
Okay,
I could say
Chicago is not my neighbor.
nobody's talking about Chicago. You're saying
Okay,
Chicago.
you know what I'm getting at. Your
No, I
neighbor,
don't even know. You're not following this conversation.
your neighborhood growing up has nothing to do with my point.
But you're not following this conversation.
I
You're
don't
adding in
need to
Chicago.
follow it, Dave. There's nothing to follow.
I'm making a point. The community of today was not the same community of yesterday because people don't know each other.
So what?
But whether your community is black, white, mixed, or whatever, it's a community. And you can give it a label. If it's mostly black, it's a black community. They do exist.
Okay, well,
But
I'm not saying. Hey, whoa. I
Go
know
ahead.
they're black communities. That part I don't dispute. I'm just saying that there are probably 1,000 black communities, if not more. They're not
Okay.
all the same. And the black community in Savannah, Georgia, has nothing to do with the black community out in LA. Nothing.
Right. I get that. I think we get
Other than a shared heritage and some cultural things. Other than that, no.
Right. We get that. Why are we even talking about that?
Probably because people think there's a biological thing of such a thing as a biological.
And that's that collective argument. That's the collective argument.
Oh well, dude, there are a bunch of fucking anti-black blacks associated in these in the anti-black sector.
I think that this community here, whether I know all my neighbors or not, is not going to be the same as a community in the South or the West. There is not one grand community.
Well, good.
Okay,
agree on
there's
that.
some things we got to agree on and just dismiss and not input in these little, riffs or whatever. But I was trying to make a point on more of a local scale. Like there is black communities. We both agree on that.
No doubt that there are.
Right. Now I done forgot my fucking point.
Well, I'm sure it'll come back to
you're good at this. And I've been trying to cherry pick something so I could build on it, but I can't even do it because I'm the fucking got confused.
Cherry picking.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
Good luck with that.
Similar anti-affirmative actions campaigns in other states as Washington, Michigan, and Nebraska. So this is another black man who came in 1996 and he spearheaded it and destroyed affirmative action in California. And that's what we need to do. Why? Art. Okay. We're just as intelligent and we are just as capable. I'm your boy, Brother D, Uncle Tom Media, exposing the truth and letting you know that who the sun sets free is free indeed.
Uncle Tom Media, boy, he's a bold man. Debate trick. I don't do debate tricks, but
No, I'm
Kimmy,
not well versed in debating, so I'm just
I'm not
terrible at it.
either.
I have
Kimmy,
my
the thing
point, and
is,
after 5 minutes, I'll lose it.
Kimmy, this one black rebel makes society afraid of all blacks. Then the problem is not the one black rebel. The problem is the society that's afraid because of one example. The society's the problem, not the rebel. That's my point.
Some people draw the line closer to their shoes than way out for everybody to fuck it up. It only takes one experience for somebody to change their mind about a whole race of people. And then that's when people experience that.
And what do you call someone who has an opinion about a whole race of people?
First of all, I don't do the race shit, so stop it.
Well, no, you brought up the example that one person forming an opinion about a whole race of people. What would you call that person who wants to form an opinion about a whole bunch of people they don't know?
I know what you want me to say, but I'm not saying it.
Oh,
Fuck
hey,
you.
I want you to say what comes natural.
No, nah, fuck you.
what comes natural?
I'm not doing it. Not right
I
now.
want you I want you to say whatever comes natural there, Dave. Oh, you know
Nope.
what?
Forget it.
Actually, I want to watch this. This is your buddy Jeff St. James interviewing Maggie, the substitute teacher, who I find oddly attractive for some reason or another.
Oh wait, the white lady Maggie.
No, 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 no. This is this lady here. You'll
It's
see.
I only know of one Maggie. That's why.
Now I've shown her before. She kind of runs like it's kind of like a finishing school. I don't know what to call it, but she basically this is food and femininity. She kind of teaches. She literally does like seminars for new brides. It's kind of like a online finishing school. She is into what would you call it? She's into teaching young ladies how to be ladies. It's almost like an online finishing school that she does. She's very traditional. You could almost say she's kind of like teaching trad wifery.
Wifery.
So anyway, this is Jeff St. James interviewing Maggie, the substitute teacher, who I actually watch occasionally. She's very traditional. Oops.
To get this guest on my podcast for about a year and a half. I finally clawed her and convinced her to come on, and I hope that you all take advantage of this while we have her. Feel free, if you're starting to watch, if you see this, make sure you share it, make sure you like the video content, including this video. And if you're not a subscriber yet, please make sure you subscribe to this channel for sure. So real quick, y'all, number one, shout out to all of the 27,266 subscribers that we have. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for supporting the channel, supporting this brand where I'm just bringing an interesting, different perspectives to the table. It's not that we always have to agree on everything, but I think that different ideas, different thoughts, they matter. And I think this is just an awesome place where we can kind of bring things that I think could be helpful, could be meaningful, whether it's political, whether it's relational, whether it's psychological. I don't know. I just think I love having
And
conversations.
Kenny, I know you're going to
on
like
this
this
journey with
woman if
me
you
as I
don't
just find the
already
most interesting
know
people
of
that I've
her.
come across online and in person, and just kind of introduce them to my new audience. So again, 27,266,000 subscribers. Shout out to y'all. If you are not a member of this channel and you want to support, one way that you can do that just by becoming a member. We have 2 different tiered systems, and best believe just by being a member, you're already supporting the cause. So if you are in the chat, feel free to donate. That's one way that you can also support. I really don't ask for members to donate anything because they're already financially supporting the channel. But if you're not a member, but you love the content that you've seen so far, or if you're enjoying the stuff that we're doing tonight, feel free to kind of donate $2 or $3, whatever you think you can afford that doesn't break the bank. I would greatly appreciate it, y'all. Number 2, men's groups. We just had our second men's group yesterday, actually, and it was great. I think we doubled the amount of guys that we had from last week to this week. So before that group gets filled up, I highly, highly, highly recommend you click on the link in this chat at the top. It's pinned. It's also in our buy channel bio section as well. Click the men's link. Click the link for the men's group. Check it out. It's covers for the month. It's every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be covering a whole host of things. And right now, we're actually locked in and focused on masculinity. And we are about to start working through in that men's group on the Jordan Peterson 12 Rules of Life, an Antidote to Chaos. We are going to be hitting that book, hitting the ground running starting next week. So best believe we're hitting the ground running with masculinity. We're going to be working through Dr. Jordan Peterson's book and working together to just, build brotherhood, camaraderie, challenge each other, and just really work on personal growth. Last but not least, store merchandise. As y'all see, I'm going to keep rocking this until everybody that I know has this hat on. We have it for obviously Make Masculinity Great Again.
Dude, that this dude thinks Jordan Peterson has any relevance to manhood is hilarious. What's up, Speak Radio? Well, I'm more Speak Radio. I'm more interested in the lady he's going to interview here. I'm kind of a fan of hers.
We have one for Make Femininity Great Again. We have shirts, we have hoodies, and we have mugs as well. Best believe we're going to be coming out with more and more stuff, but feel free to, click the store, check out the stuff, purchase what you can and support the cause. But if you get this stuff in the next week or so, if you order it tonight, make sure that you take a picture or video and upload it and tag our channel so we can start putting a collage together of all the different people who start receiving their products. So we got our samples within a week. So it could be within a week or even less. So feel free to order as soon as you can. Make sure you get the red hat. I think it's my personal favorite, but we have them in different colors. And that's another way that you can support the channel for sure. Last but not least, y'all. So I have 2 upcoming interviews lined up this very month. Guests, a lot of you have probably heard of both these individuals. I will not spoil it yet, but best believe between now and Monday, I'm going to put out a little bit more information on who the surprise guest is that I'm going to be interviewing and bringing onto this platform. I think I'm way ahead of the game in terms of being able to get this individual onto our channel. So stay tuned for that and be on the lookout because I'll be posting it and making it known on Instagram and on TikTok as well as this channel as well. So when you see it, make sure you hit that notification bell. And then lastly, thank you to today's sponsor, Dew Sable City Botanical Farm. They are a natural alternative to boosting testosterone and helping male vitality to improve sexual performance. So we're going to check out a video from our sponsor for today's video, and then we're going to jump right into interviewing and introducing our upcoming guests. So y'all, stay with me and stay tuned.
Yeah, I'm going to skip through this time.
Bring back like tradition and femininity and common sense approaches to fixing modern day issues and problems. So y'all, without further ado, please help me welcome my special guest for today. Her name is Maggie, the substitute teacher. What's going on, y'all? All right. Welcome. How are you feeling?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much, Jeff St. James. Hello, everybody in the Ask a Brother podcast community. I'm happy to be here tonight.
All right. So for starters, believe it or not, there were actually people who were kind of commenting. People would just tag me randomly. And I was getting, when I kind of went viral myself, I couldn't even keep up with the messages. I would just see these random comments and then I would go do something and the comments were like gone. But I had saw your name multiple times. It was like Taylor, who I
remind you of your mother, Kelvin.
And now you, it's amazing to me personally that like I'm thinking about where it's like people who I've watched, who I've been saying, "Oh, that's a cool idea," or "I love what they're doing." Like they're actually coming to my program, so it's like it's a weird feeling for me. What has it been like for you? Because you've gone viral multiple times.
I go viral on accident. I like to say I have a cooking channel. I'm just a mom on the internet. I don't really see, and I mean this genuinely. I do appreciate the growth, but I really don't see why anything I say is that earth shattering. To me, it's just common sense. It's the way that I was raised. It's the way a lot of us were raised, maybe a generation ago. So I have a cooking channel. Like a lot of people, it's a pandemic hobby that took off, and here we are. So I make food and femininity content. The food is the reason I started, but I think the femininity is the reason why people want me to stick around.
Yeah, I think personally, I think it's both. My wife will tell you I need to start watching you more in terms of the cooking, but that's another discussion for another day. So, my initial thing that actually we're going to jump right into it, especially with
Why does he have to watch it for
to what you
cooking?
said about like
She can't cook.
relationships, and I think a lot of people are seeing.
I think
you
he was
as
just.
a rare
I think
voice
he
of
was
wisdom
just
in an area where
just
typically
saying
when people
something to
go
have
viral,
something to
they're usually
say.
kind of saying like the craziest advice.
Nah,
Right?
fuck that. No,
So
maybe.
speaking like in this age and time where talking and pointing out behaviors in the dating market, like pointing out behaviors in the dating market that may not be like helpful, harmful, or just flat out wrong, especially when you're talking to or about women, how have they received your message? And what age range would you say tended to receive it better versus the age range that probably didn't?
Okay. So for me, it depends on the end goal that they want. So I don't really understand this being a professional dater, dating for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and then figuring out, okay, I really want a relationship now. When you are raised to prioritize marriage and family, when you are raised to be a wife, you date with intention. And I've been in a relationship since I was 18. So I don't think the women who don't prioritize marriage and family, I know they don't like what I say, so they don't receive what I say. And I'm fine with that because it's not for them. Not everybody is a wife. So when you talk about dating, I understand the intent behind the question. I think we use the umbrella term dating, but what we really mean, if marriage and family is the ultimate goal, it's about courtship. And I've said before, for me, the purpose of dating is to determine, is this a suitable match for marriage or long term? If not, what are we doing? So I say we can either accept with grace or we exit with grace. So I like to say, I don't give dating advice. I don't have a lot of dating experience. I've been in 2 relationships. And so for me, people who like the fun, the thrill of just the excitement of dating, whatever their age is, if they are in their 20s, 30s, even 40s or 50s, if you want to be a professional dater, you are not going to receive my message. So your second part about the age range, what I have experienced, I think the younger women, and I'll be 50 next month just for context.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you. The younger women that do listen to me, in my experience, will come with questions. I will give them direction or give them advice. They will go act on that advice and then come back and say, okay, Miss Maggie, I tried this or I did this and this was the result. In my experience, and I am not a professional like you, the older women, because they've been so experienced in doing their thing their way, before they start acting on it, there's a lot of time spent for them defending why their way is really the better way. And I don't understand, well, then why are you asking me? Just go be great.
Wow. And what's crazy is the stereotype typically is the reverse, where people are saying that it's the younger crowd that doesn't listen. Though no one wants to, like, if they're younger, if they're early 20s, like they can't listen, they don't want to hear anybody, they don't want to receive feedback. And what you're saying is like your experience has been, if they're younger and they're actually approaching you, they tend to genuinely want feedback of what it is they need to do different. But when they're older and they kind of connect with you, they're a little bit kind of set in their ways, and it takes a longer time to kind of get them like open to the possibility they've been doing things wrong.
Yes. So the stereotype that you're speaking of, as far as younger people, and we've all been young, we've all been headstrong. I mean, that's what put me on this path. I am a reformed modern woman, but the young women that come to me feel like a fish out of water in this modern culture. Something about them said, I don't really want to be out there. I don't want to date for 10 and 20 years. I want to get married. I want to have a family. I've always wanted that. But the other voices are so loud. It seems like everybody wants to be some type of professional city girl, and that's not everybody, because I have a community of women that are prioritizing marriage and family. So those are the ones that I try to help.
Great. I appreciate that. So what are the top 3 things missing in modern women today that you could imagine is probably affecting their success on the dating market? Well, in the relationship dating / marriage market.
Thank you.
What are the 3 things that you think they're kind of potentially missing that could potentially be like a game changer of them being much more successful in this area?
Absolutely. Number 1 is femininity. I know we beat this dead horse, but a masculine man requires a feminine woman. It's a non-negotiable. A masculine man does not want to come home to someone who's going to challenge him. So you got to decide if you want to be a support system, or if you want to be out front and let him be the wind beneath your wings. So number 1 is femininity, because they're polar opposites.
That's actually kind of what I was trying to say with that one woman who's the gym rat. I'm not the most masculine of men, but I can't imagine, being in any sort of serious relationship with a gym rat,
and cold, up and down. Femininity exists because masculinity is present, and we know what that is.
Okay, Kimmy. Yeah, I look forward to that.
Like when a masculine man comes in the room, even if it's not your man, something about you just kind of sits up straight, and you're like, okay, yes, it's natural, it's primal, it's biological, it's how we were designed. So that's number 1. Number
Sorry about that. Finishing schools may be antiquated, but in some weird way, shape, or form, they may be more needed now than they were even 100 years ago. Watching that one young lady, she opened the show, or the last stream. She was the first video I showed. I mean, she wasn't just a lady. She was elegant. And she was kind of talking about, her growing up and that sort of thing. She was literally elegant, not just a lady. And dude, if I ever met a woman like her, back like when I was, in my 20s or 30s, the word would be enchanted. She is enchanting. Like, I could just sit there and listen to her talk, and I would just be like, wow, what a woman. So
Yeah,
you don't meet women like that a lot.
she is elegant, and you do have something against women who are elegant in a freeze frame. This is not a good freeze frame.
I just freeze it. I don't ask him to strike a pose.
Even that beautiful woman you had on the last stream you had to reset, you put her on a freeze frame, bro. Anybody coming in would have said, "What the hell?" Nah, she was nice though.
Yeah, she was more than nice. I mean, I don't really fawn over women in videos, but wow.
Number 2 for me, you can call
Thank God
it
she's married.
submission. I'll just say agreeable, because some people get caught up in the word submission, but everything doesn't have to be a fight. We don't have to go 12 rounds. You don't have to take.
Yo, she's right. Words mean things, and people don't understand what the spirit behind the whole word submission was, and they just take that and run with it. almost is like, okay, so somebody disagree with the whole idea of submission. So it gets bastardized and then presented in a way as if it's a bad thing, especially from the feminist perspective. It's actually a good thing because submission actually motivates a man.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, and this is just my perspective. I'm not making any sort of universal point, but I would almost say submission got a bad name by the type of men who were emphasizing submission. Okay, you hear somebody like an Andrew Tate or, one of these manosphere types, Tommy Sotomayor, you hear them talk about submission. No woman wants to submit to that.
But that wasn't
So,
the case, though. That wasn't the case. Let's be
well,
honest.
all I have to say, well, I don't know that much about the manosphere. It's just the little I know. Shit, I'm a man and I'm offended.
Clearly, okay. So my wife is submissive, and she may not acknowledge that she's submissive if you asked her, but that's just who she is.
Well, you're
It's
missing
a
my
whole
point.
different thing.
My
No,
point is
I
out
got your
here,
point. I'm just using the example, like
right? But
if
out
you
here
just
in the YouTube streets, I'm gonna pick on Tough Guy. But if you've ever heard him go on about the respect black men are due from black women, dude, I am a fucking man, and I'm like, well, goddamn, you don't speak for me.
not tough guy, freezing.
No, no,
I
no.
know what he was
Well,
saying.
no, no, no. Tough Guy too, Breezy as well. They don't fucking speak for me, and I'm like, if I were on a panel and they started talking some of that shit, I'd probably leave the panel because I don't want to be associated with it. Submission is probably not a bad thing. It's the messengers that are the problem.
Hey Brooklyn,
But that's my
if you was a
personal
cam up in
opinion.
the hair salon, Stanley would change his tune because it's a whole different atmosphere. Like the Dominican barbershops, they do something different than what your typical black barbershop does. If you're in a Dominican beauty salon, that would be excellent for Stanley to see.
Why?
Don't worry about why. The why is what would be answered.
Well, they talk shit about men.
No, they don't.
Look, I would like to submit that I'm an international lover. So
Yeah, but you're
I can give
international novice though at the same time. I told you if you ever
I
booked a
can
ticket, I'd meet you there.
all I can say is that men and women have been doing this for millennia. I think that you kind of made the point, and a valid point, that your wife may not even call it submission, but in essence, that's what it is. The bottom line, I think the real deal is that you can talk about something like this and not be a cad, to use an old fashioned word. Um, I think that the messenger sometimes is the message, and there's certain people who shouldn't be talking about women being submissive. They're horrible men.
Right, yeah.
Bitch.
I agree. I agree.
A dude who calls every woman a bitch or a hoe should not be talking about submission.
Honestly, the only people who really should be talking about it is married men or married minded men. Because they have more of
I
a
agree.
reason
I agree
for it.
with that.
More of a
I
reason
agree
for it.
with that.
Matter of fact, Stanley, I got a guy that I was watching lately. His name is Stacy Prince. He's like Kevin Samuels 2.0. You should hear this guy. I got to pull up a
What's
stream
his
where I can
name?
like give you route. Stacy Prince.
Is he on YouTube?
Yeah, he's on YouTube. Man, he is Kevin Samuels but more black. But he is honestly a carbon copy. I forgot why I
How
said
old?
that.
Well, let's look him up right quick.
He used
The
all the
real
talking
Stacy
points.
Prince.
Yeah, that's him.
I will take a look at him tomorrow.
I was in this chat one time and he was using every single talking point, bro. You should have seen it. But he's like, so Kevin Samuels came up through a manosphere and Stacy did not. There's difference. There's a small difference, but he uses all the same talking points. It's really no difference, but
Well, I mean, does that? Well, you said there's not much of a difference.
no, it's not, but it's a denial.
Okay.
He just wasn't around for what it really was about. And it's the idea that he argues against is why he's different. One of these days, man. You gotta check that out.
I'll check him out tomorrow.
No. Sometimes it's a not yet.
Well, no, actually, it'll
Sometimes
be
it's a
Wednesday.
not this, but that. But
Let's
just
say.
working with a man. So many modern women think that you need to compete as a man when you're with a man, and that's hurting their chances. So that's number 2. And then number 3 is big for me. It's a heart of service. I don't see a lot of modern women wanting to earn it. That's the number one thing that I say to my man all the time. You know, when he's like, babe, sit down, you've done enough. I'm like, nope, I want to earn everything. I think that the modern world in general, modern women in specific, I think, you know, we have these wonderful devices and this modern technology, and it has turned from what can I do to make your life better, your life a little easier, even if it's not for your man, but do you care about anybody other than yourself? If you see an older person, a handicapped person, a child, are you even aware that there are other people in the world outside of you? So when you first have that awareness and then you say, you know what, I can help you with that. I don't mind to take that off your plate. It's so endearing to a man who's trying to carry the world on his shoulders. And so those are the 3 things for me. I would say number 1, femininity, number 2, agreeableness, and number 3, a heart of service.
Wow. So out of those 3 things that you listed, I'm realizing now, and you kind of alluded to it, selfishness. Selfishness, being self-centered, being solipsistic, and only looking at things through the lens of what you can get out of it will prevent you from being able to do and live out any of those things you just suggested.
Right.
Absolutely.
Softness, the agreeableness, and just even the desire to want to serve. That's the antithesis of only looking at a relationship, a potential relationship, through the lens of what I can extract and get out of it.
That is the problem when you only have the dating mindset. It just becomes transactional because you don't plan to be around. He doesn't plan to keep you around. So you're just trying to get as much as you can get out of this transactional relationship. That's why I said the premise from the very beginning, what is it that you want? Okay, if you just want to date, go have fun, but don't complain when.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that she hasn't moved on. I personally think one of the problems with marriage these days is it's transactional.
That's because the approach, though.
Well,
some guys have a lower standard of what they want. Like, yeah, you can get a guy like that, but you get a guy who's really about the whole marriage, like what it's really about, and that's gonna be confused.
Well, no, I was actually thinking from the female point of view. I can recall seeing shows where, the woman like, oh, he needs to make, well, Kevin Samuels actually, the man needs to make 6 figures and, all these things. I don't know. It's like a Christmas wish list, or a checklist. If he doesn't have all this, I don't know. I just think that that's probably why people should really date or court or whatever when they're young, before you even have a whole lot of material assets. I think the older you get, the harder it is. But anyway, I think that I will agree with folks who, have a problem with no fault divorces, for instance. I don't think no fault divorces are going to go away. I think they're here to stay. But I think that's one of those things almost everybody can agree that has not done society any good. It's too easy to get out of marriages.
Be serious if
Yeah.
you find somebody else. That's not what you chose. But if you are choosing a real relationship, what I tell my students is that you get what you want by making sure you're taking care of others.
Mhm.
It's natural in a man. It's natural in all of us. If I have an assistant that knows my schedule and makes sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed,
Mhm.
it would be foolish of me to not make sure he or she had everything that she needed to be productive. Relationships are the same way. When you have a masculine man, when you have a leader, he's going to make sure that he moves those big boulders out of the way so that you can continue to produce in a way that's a support system if you want something traditional.
That's good stuff. And it's when I'm realizing it's like a lot of times I think when I'm noticing both in my practice and just observation like you have on social media and stuff, a lot of these ladies that are screaming and demanding traditional men, they're treating it like a la carte, like a buffet, where I want this part and I want this piece and I want this or that. And they forgot that there's a whole nother half of the equation of tradition, that the things that you're literally listing, that's the thing that's considered attractive to the men that they're claiming to want. And they're rejecting those things because the culture and feminism kind of tells them to kind of don't offer those things, don't serve a man, you and I'm like, oh my gosh, like they're telling them the exact opposite of what it is that they would need to do and be in order to get the actual outcome. And what's shocking to me is they don't get the outcomes they want, and they're doing what the culture is saying. And then when you say the exact opposite, or when I or other people say the exact opposite, like, well, just do the exact opposite of what the culture is saying. And they put up this fight, and I'm like, but you don't even have what it is that you want. Like,
Oh,
it'd
you're
be one thing if you had it and you're trying to tell people like, nah, you don't need to do all that. Like, it worked for me, but a lot of times, more often than not, it's not working. They're not getting in relationships, or they're getting with men that allows them to do what they want that they really don't respect.
Hey, it's Stanley. That's the black way versus the right
so
way.
of
And I
course,
told you you can't be
if I
black and
have
be a man. Like that, they're breaking it down on such a stupid
Well, what do
level.
you
Like
define black?
black is the way that ain't working. Whatever the fuck that is,
Okay, so
it ain't working.
you're defining a behavior as black.
Yes, because that's what black is embodying. Like literally, they stand
Okay,
up and
see,
say,
when you said it, I thought you meant like phenotype or race. I didn't know you meant
"No, I'm not. I'm
behavior.
talking about ideology
Okay, well,
more
see,
than
now I
race."
have an even bigger problem with your point.
Okay, go ahead, spell it out.
Okay, acting black, that is literally racist.
It is racist. That's fine.
So again, I guess if what you are saying is if you act stereotypically black, um, you can't be a man. I guess I would agree with that. But I thought you meant as in as an
Color,
identity,
no,
not a behavior.
no. I'm talking about the behavior.
Okay, well, see, I don't agree with black as a behavior. That's real be brave level racist. Um, I mean, because within the race, there is such a thing as class. If you had said, hey, you can't be acting all low class or acting all ghetto, I would have understood that. When you say black, well, shit, I'm black. Um, so
Well, see, it does kind of like bend to what the interpretation is. Like, if you think that black is uh, anti-white, that's the way most people look at it. Is like if you're acting white, you want to be white. You're a white man. You're Uncle Tom. You're this. You're that. And really, you're just doing things the way things work, and it works well. It doesn't mean that you want to be white. To me,
well, I think people can quote, accomplish a lot of things that are traditionally associated with whiteness or white males or white women You don't have to act like a fucking
Ninja.
Chad. You don't
Right.
have,
Wait.
you don't have to you don't have to act like Chad or a Karen to accomplish, what is traditionally thought of as white.
Okay, so
And
mind you
in
mind
all
you this though,
honesty,
Stanley.
I don't even think like that. When you said black, I thought you meant like black as in, hey, this dude's a black guy, just walking down the street. I had no idea you were associating it with behavior. I
Oh,
would have never
definitely.
used the word black to describe behavior. Because
Well, this is why.
there are too many white kids who act quote black.
Right. But this is why. When I first got a job, I had a job in sales. I was excelling at the job. I went to work every day, got there on time, 15 minutes early, on times before time. And then somebody said, "Oh, you're a company man. You want to please your boss." That was
Yeah, well,
black.
what's wrong? I mean,
That
that's
was a
not,
black criticism of me just wanting to do the right thing.
well, I mean,
Apparently, I
company man isn't necessarily a racial term.
no, it's not. But it was just the criticism of me doing the right thing. What? I wasn't being black enough by
Yeah,
doing
but
it, just
how do
pulling
you
up
know
on
it was a
time.
criticism of, dude? If the person didn't say you want to be white, then that might not have been what he meant.
That is what he said, and that is what he meant.
Oh, he said
That
white. You said company man.
it,
Which was it?
company man is the same thing as calling somebody Uncle Tom.
And you and I disagree on that.
That's fine, but it does tie over. It's not like
Okay,
you
well,
could be
in your
15
mind,
minutes early. Well, no, I go and I get a coffee. I'm sitting in my car before I go in 15 minutes early. I'm on time. Or let's say I had to pick somebody up, right? And we got to go to work at 8. So I get to his house at 7:30 so I can sit in the parking lot at 7:45. Why you want to get there all early? Well, you trying to be a company man? Is that not the right thing to do?
okay, all I have to say is someone had called me a company man, I wouldn't have racialized it.
But it's the same thing. So you want to do good at your job, you keep a job for a long time. The nibbles on the corner is gonna say, "Oh yeah, you go to that
It's
job
not
still. You
the
still working.
same
You got
thing.
longevity. You
Which
got good
part
accolades with that job."
which part of I never would have racialized it can't you understand?
I get what you're saying, but I like
Okay,
to
then
tie this
stop
over. You really gotta
racializing it.
understand the
Dude,
whole
now
criticism.
the next time you tell me all I talk about is race, I'm going to bring up this example.
Good. I want you to because I'm sure if you do, I know so much about it that I'll be able to destroy and
I
chop
would
that shit down.
never, if someone had called me a company man, I never would have associated it with race.
Well, that's
And
not acting white.
I'm not even
That's
kidding.
not. They don't mean acting white when they say that.
Nope.
Bullshit.
No, I'm sorry, Dave. It doesn't. Maybe
Bullshit.
it's not. Okay, Dave, don't tell me it's bullshit. I literally would have never thought that. Dude, you
You
said
wouldn't think you
acting black.
had to.
You said you can't be black and a man, and I literally thought you were talking about being. I literally went into talking about the racial contract in Western culture, basically racializing what freedom is. I had no clue you were talking about acting black.
Yeah, because you could act black or you could act free.
Right, but you're missing my point. You and I don't think the same thing about race, apparently.
No, we
When you
don't. That's
say
why you
when you
always. That's
say
why
when
when
you
you use
say
your examples,
when
it's
you
always
say
way off. When I tell you it's off, it's off.
okay, no, you're the one who's way off.
I might be, but
You literally
my
want
point is
if
still on
somebody
a different.
uses if somebody uses a non-racial term to describe you, you instantly racialize it.
Yes, because it also what follows that in the line of logic of why they think that I'm a company
Okay,
man is that I want to be white. Yes,
racism
that's what they mean
being
by that.
racial being racial is not a logical act, and too many people seem to say, oh hey, it's logical to think race. No, it is not logical. It is literally environmental, and people need to don't come to me talking about being a racist is natural. It's not. You have to be conditioned to be that way by the culture. And too many people don't seem to be able to think it through to understand this.
You never heard of colored people time?
That's a cultural thing. It's not biological.
So being at work on time is a colored people thing or no?
Um, my parents always taught me to be 15 minutes early as well. So no, I don't necessarily associate it with colored people.
And you never been criticized for being on time for shit? Or no, not even
Not
that.
that,
Have you ever been on
not
time for
that I
something and the
immediately.
black people that were supposed to be there were like extremely late or just
Nope.
late or late consistently? Stanley bullshit.
Okay, I don't know what it is. When I tell you my life experience, you just can't seem to think that it's real.
No, there's a
What
generational gap
reason?
between me
What
and you.
reason? What reason do I have
There's
to
a
lie about
generational
this,
gap.
Dave?
That's all it is. It's that I don't believe you because
Well,
there's a
then call it a
generational gap.
generational gap. But
I think there was
honestly,
decency in your time that no longer exists in my time.
you could very well be right, though. I really don't want to think it, but I guess I have to believe you.
That's all it is. It's not that we disagree, is that maybe the standard has been lowered.
Well, if the standard has been lowered, it's not just in the black community, it's American culture as a whole is worse off than it was 100 years ago. In some ways, it's way better.
Okay, I would probably need more clarity as to how it's better, but
Well, I mean, I think that marriage. Look, I think something like feminism and the sexual revolution and all that stuff, it's a dual-edged sword. You
yeah,
know,
I
when I
can agree with
we
you.
were talking about Nick Fuentes being 27 and a virgin. Well, that is a good thing that he's defied the sexual revolution, but it's also a bad thing in that he's a goofy fuck.
That's what we always see.
It's a
I actually,
dual-edged
I actually
sword.
appreciate the standard of old. I appreciate that,
Yeah.
and I compare a lot of
Well, I
things to
mean,
what
I
is not
appreciate it.
today.
I
Maybe
appreciate it too. However, there's good and bad in everything. To quote to quote Ebony and Ivory.
right, because now that the bar is lowered and the standard is that you conquest all types of women just to prove your manhood, the virgin today will
Okay,
not
well,
be
no, no,
appreciated.
no, 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 no. It's more important to defy some of these cultural norms. I mean, in a way, you're complimenting Nick Fuentes for defying some cultural norms. It's well taken. I just think it's an unnecessary sacrifice. But if that's what he wants to do, more power to him.
Yeah, it's no
Now,
longer
problem
appreciated
the
because the standard
problem
is
is
lower.
if he were just some dude, working a 9 to 5, it would be perfect. Unfortunately, he has outsized influence on the culture right now, and his goofiness is doing more harm than good, in my opinion. If he could contain the goofy to his immediate personal sphere, more power to him. It would be perfect. It's just there's a whole bunch of motherfuckers who call themselves groypers trying to be like him, and I don't think it's doing society as a whole good.
What if the principles of being a groyper require for you to abstain from sexual deviancy and anything else that could be considered as an actual positive?
No,
But
I don't think that.
the fact that the social norm says that, yeah, you should be out here slawing and going crazy is the
Okay.
norm.
See, a lot too many people are slaves to social norms. And I can say this, and I'm not even exaggerating. I was trained by my parents to resist some things. Okay, it was my mother was all about, hey, if they're jumping off the bridge,
Don't
you
jump.
want to do it too.
Right.
No,
My
are
parents
you
were too.
going to do it? My parents were real big on thinking for yourself and not doing what everybody else does. So it's ingrained. Okay. Some people call it, kind of being contrarian. And to a certain extent, I was raised to be a contrarian. At least, at a minimum, be skeptical. So
Come
it could very well be
come
generational.
real
It
soon.
could very well be just my parents were different sorts of parents. Even back then, they stood out.
I
You
appreciate
know,
it.
some
Yeah, there were just some things like, dude, there were just some things you didn't even bother asking because you knew it was going to be a no. And the no wasn't the problem. It would be the look my mother would give you. The no was going to be the least of the consequences. It would just be her judgment could be harsh.
That's beautiful. That's a good thing.
Well, it's a
That's
good.
what kept you in line. That's what kept you,
It's,
whatever her
yeah,
principles are, it kept you
who
from
needs
fucking
who
up
needs a
completely.
who needs a spanking when you just like fucking, oh my god, I just don't want to hear her.
Yeah, that became your moral compass, though.
Well, it did. Well, I've told this story several times. Like, my mother would tell this story well after I'd left home that she was a little bit of a yeller. And when you get up to high school, dude, you don't feel like hearing all that shit. And I knew, one day it just clicked. You know what? If I fucking, the chores around the house, if I get them done before she tells me to do them, at some point she's going to stop asking me to do it. I'll just do it ahead of time. And you say 25 times, hey, I did it an hour ago. Eventually you teach your parents as much as they're teaching you. My mother stopped
Exactly.
asking. It was on me to make sure the shit I knew she was going to want done, just get it done. And fucking, after a while, she didn't even bother asking. She would just maybe check or spot check, and the shit was done. And the thing is 20 years, 30 years later, I didn't even realize how much she appreciated it. She literally used to brag, like, oh, hey, after a certain point of time, he just did it, and I didn't even have to bother with him. It parents, hearing that 20 or 30 years later, it actually almost brought a tear. It's like, well, goddamn, I actually did something to improve her life. So,
Yeah,
parenting can
or
get
you
good.
learn a certain bit of structure that that they've really wanted you to implement in your own life.
Well, yeah, but um, she didn't have to go and fuss to my father. It just fixed a whole lot, and it was all on me to do it. I could have just kept, you know, being a slacker, but motherfucker, I'm tired of hearing Dolores fucking bother. I don't feel like being nagged today. Let me just get this shit done.
Right.
It was
I hate to say it this way, but if I were, being forced to, chaperone a party, we've all done that. Not my kid, but if it's my kid, I got eyes over, hey, you're not doing that because I care. I think about your long-term benefit. And yeah, you're right. I mean, the modern
You're
culture
absolutely
and,
right, Con.
everything, it's not just women, but, in general, we are a very selfish society. And I don't know if it's age, once you get to this point in life, I'll be half 100, you really start thinking about leaving the world. For me, I think about leaving the world better than I found it. What am I going to be remembered for? And the key, ladies, if you remember those three things, none of them are physical. And I'm all about taking care of yourself. But if you are feminine, if you're agreeable, if you are a support system, that never ages. So that's a way that you can win even 10, 20, 30 years down the line. You can have his heart because you've made yourself so irreplaceable because beauty fades for all of us.
Related to this, and this is great because I feel like when ladies like you, Anita, Taylor, are kind of trying to put the ladies on game and saying if you wanted to be seen a certain way, if you want a certain type of attention, and if you want a certain type of man to approach you and take you seriously, what's some of the red flags in men's eyes that ladies may not be aware of? And again, this is just freestyling. So what's some instant red flags that you'd imagine men that are traditional, want to be providers, want to be monogamous, want to build a life and legacy with a woman and family? What are instant, more often than not, red flags that these ladies may be unknowingly doing or exhibiting that would completely turn him off to wanting to see her or take her seriously?
I always pause when, I'm asked to speak on behalf of men. So the disclaimer is I'm not a man. I have never had the male experience, but I can say what I've heard and what I have experienced. And we'll just flip those three things on their head. So I said, lead with your femininity. I want to give some tangible examples. I think there's a lot of behaviors that women do that they don't even know this is masculine. All right. Okay. I'll tell you, my man, Mr. President, he told me flat out, nothing about you needs to remind me of a dude. I was like, wow, okay. So how do you show up? Let's talk about the physical, right? Do you stand out? Do you look like a woman? Do you even put effort into your appearance? And we have the features that we have, but is there anything that is warm and welcoming about you? Are you can he see you as the feminine asset to his masculine brand? So some of those masculine things, being loud, being competitive, being vulgar, dropping bombs all over the place, being, kicking the door down and it's all about me. All of those things are masculine traits, whether you know it or not. You're not a boss, babe. You're just a barracuda. You're not helping yourself. It's true. Or as a man would say, you're just a battle axe. And so these are the things that women think falsely that's going to get attention on me, but it's going to get attention for the wrong reason. So they see you a mile away and they're like, here we go. Seen this one before. So that's not helping you being masculine. The second one I said, being agreeable. So if we flip that, some red flags, ladies, you don't always have to say what's on your mind. Am I telling you not to speak? No. But if we listen more than we speak, you don't always have to have the last word. You don't always have to contradict just because. You don't always have to give that one time at band camp or I know somebody or try to undermine his thought process. Sometimes just listening will do you some good. You might learn something. So one of the things that a lot of times women miss is men think long term. We are very good in the moment. Men are thinking, do I want to live with this for the next 5 years, 10 years, 30 years? So I see sometimes women, see what I mean? So I see sometimes women, they will, have that slick mouth, or they'll do something, or they'll act up in public, or drink too much at the company party, and they'll be saying, oh, it wasn't that bad. It was just one time, or it was just, I didn't do that much, or I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Well, it was to him because he's thinking, okay, this is who you are. So every time I have an idea, it's going to be a challenge with her. I got to go 12 rounds with her. I don't want to do that. So they'll cut their losses and then you'll be crying, well, he didn't give me a chance. He saw where this is going and he decided to exit stage left. And then the last one, so we talked about femininity and masculinity. We talked about being agreeable, having that heart of service. Ladies, that red flag could be just the lack of consideration. And again, to me, this happens in modern culture, but if you're invited out, do you just sit down and get the best of everything for yourself and you don't even care if anybody else is served? Do you, you all know I love to cook and pack plates for him, but do you even care? Did you eat today? Can I make you a sandwich? Is there any consideration? So some red flags is just, well, I want to do this and I want to go here and I want this. If there's that selfish streak in you and you just think somebody owes it to you, that could be another red flag that could make you be disqualified.
Nah, those are all really, really good. And you're dead on about the long-term perspective because men that are like more serious about their long-term plans, their goals, what they're trying to build in their legacy, If they see that you only have a short-term mindset, they're just going to see you as either a short-term fling or just a liability. They're just going to see you as a liability because he sees what's going to come. Every time he wants to do something, he wants to save, he wants to build, he wants to invest, you want to spend, you want to experience. And he's going to start to see like, I can't be battling the world and battling making this money and then battling to keep the money in the house. Because I think I mentioned it when I was doing my last interview about like it when I was meeting and talking with I believe Taylor Chandler, about how when we have this boat and it's like and it's a hole in it and you got your bucket and you're trying to get the water out, and then the person in there, instead of helping you, they're poking more holes in the boat. It's like, how we ever gonna get anywhere? Some other stuff that I'd imagine you may co-sign on that's definitely huge red flags for guys is social media.
I want to make one point in a compliment to Maggie. She's probably, and I know there must be one or two others, but when she's giving, this advice about, women and femininity, this relationship advice, she is very, you kind of want to listen to what she's saying. Some women are just kind of, they kind of come off as know-it-alls. They kind of, I don't know, for some reason, she's just really personable when she gives this advice. So I have to give her a compliment. I could listen to her talk about shit that I would just normally find annoying. So
yeah.
Social media. So I'm not gonna even go. You know what? Because this ain't my.
Well, she's also married,
Please
and no,
tell the
she's not
ladies
really
from a
too
social
young.
media
She's
standpoint,
gonna be 50.
from your lens, based on what you've heard, what you have observed, how are a lot of modern day women approaching social media, unknowingly hurting themselves in the dating/marriage market?
Oh, goodness. It's such a double-edged sword. And look, we all love technology. I'm not saying we need to go back in the Stone Age. I mean, we're all, on social media, most of us in some form. But I think social media should be a tool to help promote the good things about whatever you want people to know. Because let's face it, social media is what we want the world to know. We all have a life behind the scenes. I would say first, modesty. Ladies, your man doesn't want everybody to have access to you, even visually. So that's the first thing. Now, if you're a working girl and that's how you get clients, none of this applies to you anyway. But especially for the young women, if you think exposing more is going to get you attention, it will, but it'll be momentary attention from someone who wants to have his fun and then move on to someone serious. So, save some things for your man. Not everything is for public consumption. So that's an easy piece of low-hanging fruit.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing
she is so right about that.
Ladies, if it's just you, like if you go to your feed and you just scroll, and it's you like this, and it's you like this, and it's you like this, and it's just you, and you're not doing anything, that ties into, what we said about being selfless, because you're basically advertising, I focus on myself. And of course, I have pictures of myself and I have videos of myself, but I try to be very intentional. It's usually me teaching something, demonstrating a recipe. Of course, I go out and have fun. But even when I go out and have fun, here's me at the symphony or the opera, or trying to show other wholesome ways that you can enjoy life. Do whatever works for you, but just be careful about it being all eyes on me. And then finally, for me, privacy. Ladies, I don't know what this is about going to the internet. I just got home from a date and let me tell you all about it. Or putting people on blast, or crying or crashing out, or any of those things. Men, especially the type of men that we admire and respect, confidence is key. Privacy is key, and discretion is key. You will never get the keys to the kingdom if you can't be trusted. And so again, these are things that sometimes women say, well, when I'm with that man, or I wouldn't do this with you. No, that is your resume. That is your digital footprint. You are demonstrating what life is going to be like with you. And so he may look at that from afar and say, no, I'll pass. And you won't even have an opportunity. So I say, just pull all the way back. Everything isn't for public consumption.
Nah, this is really, really good stuff. And ladies, I think because they are getting attention, and they are getting attention from men and women, and they're getting the likes, they're getting the comments, they're getting the DMs. Kevin Samuels has said it, other people have said it, like they're confusing sexual attention with relational intention.
Yep.
And I'll tell y'all a really good cheat code of how a lot of men already disqualify ladies, and especially men that are very serious and they know the caliber of woman. They absolutely do not want to get with a woman that they can perceive has been with too many people. You could say it's a high body count. It's the way she presents to give the impression that she's very highly overly sexual. One cheat code, ladies, this is the thing, and Miss Maggie was right with what she said and what I'm about to say. An easy disqualifying factor for us is if you're everywhere. In the club, you in Dubai, which apparently there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in Dubai. If we're seeing that you're 22, 23 years old, and you're on a trip every month, 9 times out of 10, because everybody claims they're making 6 figures and most of y'all are not, and most of y'all don't have parents that's paying for all this stuff. Our lenses, it's one of 2 reasons. It's either because you're being flown out by men, or you're being financially irresponsible. When we see that you're constantly out at expensive restaurants, you're constantly out sitting in all these expensive cars, and none of them look like they're yours. If we see that you're on all your new locations every single month, and then we ask what you do for a living, and you're like,
the fuck is he talking about? Honestly, dude,
I
you don't
have
live
no
that.
idea,
You don't live that life. Have you got any comments? I noticed you were talking a lot in the chat there about sandwiches.
Yeah, she said she would make me a sandwich. I'd be happy if she made me a sandwich.
Yeah, well, no, nothing like beating that dead horse.
oh, I'm a nurse, I'm a flight attendant. I'm like, maybe y'all think that men are a little dumber than we realize, but if you're not married, that means men are not dumb. That means they have you in the category of sex only for fun. So if you getting 5, 10, 20,000 people following you on social media, you got hundreds of men in your DMs, but you've been presenting the image that you'll go around, get around girl, that you're constantly in spaces, in places.
Man, this dumb fuck cannot help but exercise that manosphere gene. It's like, what kind of women have you been meeting, son?
The kind of women he's explaining. What is the issue with what he's saying?
Well, maybe things have changed, but I don't know. There are a lot of 21, 22-year-olds, going to Bahrain every other weekend.
Going where?
He's talking about Bahrain or Dubai. He's talking about these women that are jet setting and stuff like that. How many young black women live that jet set lifestyle?
No, they see it and they aspire to it. They don't even have to live it. They
Okay, well,
just
no, he's talking
vicariously.
about actual women. The cheat code. Like if a man sees that you're always, taking these jet set trips, or you're in expensive cars that don't look like yours, he's describing a woman he's probably never met.
I don't think it's no small. I mean, I don't know. I don't know nothing, man. Hey, let me get off of here, man. I gotta tend to the wifey.
All right. Well, we enjoyed it.
All right, 12 man. Salute, Stanley.
Take
Salute.
care,
Good
brother.
conversation, man.
Take it easy.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Let's see. What time is it? I'll go another half hour. Then I'm gonna wrap up the show myself. Um.
I guess I missed most of the show today, Stanley.
Yeah. I started
I,
around 1:30, 1:45, somewhere in there.
You would.
yeah, I was
I've
sleeping
been.
in,
Or
I guess.
we're
Yep. Well, I've been basically doing the show around 1:30 Eastern time. Seems to work out better for everybody.
going to start the
Yeah.
those are the connections we're going to start to make. And all of you who are the anomaly to the rule, ladies, where you legitimately are paying for yourself, you really are funding these trips. That happens. I've known people that do that. It still isn't going to be interpreted the same way. It's still going to be interpreted the same way. So be mindful of that about your digital footprint. So what Miss Maggie is saying is 100% true. 100% true. The locations are telling on y'all. So it's not just how you dress. It's not just about the twerking videos. It's not just about the different links for people to collect money and get you how much time they can get from you. It's also about just the digital footprint of what it is that you're saying you're doing. Because you have to realize if I'm a guy that's serious and I'm trying to build and you're traveling all the time, even if you're paying for it, I know at some point if you try to do life with me, you're going to expect me to pay for it. And I'm like, if I'm only trying to go on a trip maybe once or twice a year and you're going every month, you're going to feel like you have to downsize your relationship to be with me. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. And
Yeah, all I
you're
have to say is this
desensitized to all
motherfucker's
trips and
describing
experiences, so
something
it
that
won't
no
even hit
one
the
actually
same when I come in and
experiences.
try to take you on.
Don't know why
So
he's even
that's
dwelling
just
on
the cheat
this.
code, ladies. And listen, y'all in the comments, feel free to let us know as we're talking if y'all
Did
think
she
that
seem
we're on to something or if
non-interested,
we're cooking.
Stanley?
And number two, make sure
I'm
you
sorry,
like this
what?
video or like
Did
this
she
this
seem
video if you haven't,
non-interested?
because there's a lot of people in the chat.
Did she seem not interested?
Yeah, and what he's saying. Don't she kind of seem like that? Like
No.
she's not
What
really.
he's describing some fictional woman who lives a jet set lifestyle. And my point is that no one who's 21 or 22 lives that type of lifestyle. And if
No.
they do, they won't be with him. They're gonna expect him to be going to Dubai with them. I don't know what he's just blathering on endlessly, and I think he just can't help but be, this weird manosphere dude.
And I don't think everybody's liked the video yet. So make sure that you like, make sure that you subscribe. And for sure, once this is over, make sure everybody that watches this, you go to Maggie's different platforms that she's going to announce at the end, and make sure that you subscribe, follow, and like her content and support her as well. So another question I've had for a bit, that I've been thinking about for a bit. Who's better at checking their own when it comes to men checking men and women checking women when it comes to like changing their behavior and holding them accountable, or even just kind of like putting a little shame in there? Who's better at doing that, you think?
That's kind of a low ball of almost painfully obvious question. To answer you directly, I would say the men, but I would actually say, yes, men check each other. And that was one of the clips that went viral. But I think another distinction is that the world checks men. Men don't have
why you say that?
Well, men don't have the do-over that we do as women. Men have an immediate consequence if it goes wrong, and men know that, and they learn that early. And I've seen that being a boy mom. Not only does the world forgive, it's very forgiving for us. There's all these programs and safety nets, and other women want to make excuses for bad behavior. Well, I understand, or, you don't know what everybody's going through. We have all of these excuses. That doesn't exist for men. So yes, men check each other more than women check women, but I think it's because the world checks the men very harshly.
Wow. And again, it is probably preaching to the choir at this point for everybody that's been on my content on my channel so far. I think it's I agree with you, but I think it's layered and it's twofold. I think on the one hand, I think men even hold each other accountable a lot of times by a lack of the more that men value like networking, building themselves, becoming better, they tend to try to surround themselves with men that's also doing the same.
Mm-hmm.
So when they kind of see you as like not doing anything with your life, not going anywhere, they kind of like grow distant and kind of move on from those men. They want to surround themselves with men that's actually doing something, kind of holding, really holding themselves personally accountable to grow, to change, to get better at things. And and I think a lot of times men tell the truth about really harsh things through jokes, through humor. Like, well, man, you need to get your fat A up. I mean, we need to go. Like, that's a thing with men where we can kind of rib each other in hopes of kind of getting each other to higher levels or spaces. Like, men tend to kind of tell the truth with men that and again, men will tell men when they know the woman that he's dealing with is trouble. They don't hold it back. They don't worry about his feelings. They say, bro, she's known. She's now, if you're still gonna do it, that's your choice. But I'm just letting you know we know her, right? Like men will kind of do that with each other a lot of times. And with the ladies, like I've seen it split. I've seen women that will let each other know certain things, but I've also seen them kind of support and encourage like the worst stuff. And it's sticking on code. It's sticking to like the sisterhood. And I, for the life of me, I don't understand why it is that the sisterhood is always about sticking together when it's something wrong, when it's something bad going on. That's when we need to be silent. That's when we need not to comment. That's when we need not to make it known, girl, you're going in the wrong direction. I'm like, that's when she kind of needs it the most.
I don't know why we permit and promote bad behavior. I'm drawing a little bit of a blank here again because I married at 25 to my college boyfriend since I was 18. So when you've been in a relationship for a long time, like you said, we pull away from a lot of perpetually single women. Most of my friends were in relationships, so I don't even have purview to that constant carousel of dating. And let me tell you what happened this weekend. It's tiresome for those of us who are actually trying to build something.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a lot of expertise in that area of chaos, but you're not wrong. We do have a responsibility, and I feel a calling, a huge responsibility. Like
she doesn't have expertise, but she does have judgment.
The session with him. Where are the older women to teach the young? So I do feel a responsibility to the community to offer a perspective and say, hey, you don't have to go the same way everybody is going. And my man held my feet and all of our feet to the fire. And he said, look, until the good ones start speaking up, everybody can get it. I was like, oh my gosh. So
that's if you want to,
exactly. And that's where we are right now.
Y'all, if y'all are in the chat right now, if you haven't donated, feel free to donate $2, $3, something small that you can afford to support the channel, support the cause as we try to build this platform and get more and more guests on, get more and more equipment that I need, and be able to build this studio out to the way that I think me and the team could be very helpful and excited about. So if you haven't donated, feel free to click.
Yeah, that's my cue. Everybody, make sure you hit the like button. If you are new, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. And tomorrow, I'm going to start including my backup channel. Talked a little bit about, why I decided to start a backup channel, but we'll deal with that tomorrow. And make sure you support the host. Supporting the show supports the host. All the newspaper subscriptions, magazines, that sort of thing, and a few YouTube subscriptions. So
and beer.
Beer too.
Don't forget
but
to donate
everybody
to the beer fund.
Oh yeah, the international, the Sovereign Beer Fund, which I don't know. It's Monday, so we have a few days before we start going heavy to the contributions. So anyway, I'm gonna go another 15 minutes and wrap this up because I am actually getting tired. So we'll see what else Maggie has to say, and then tomorrow is Veterans Day. Pretty much have it planned out, so it'll be a lot of Navy stuff.
Click on the dollar
Well, I
sign
hope
for those
you have
super
a
chats.
good Veterans Day,
If you donate on the
Stanley.
super chats, we will
in
post
case
and
I don't
actually
talk to
read
you
your comments
before
and or
then.
read your
Well,
questions.
thank
So
you.
that is a way for us to kind of make sure that we identify any and every single super chat that we get. And if you don't want to do the super chats through YouTube, remember that you can donate through Cash App and PayPal as well. So thank you all for that have already donated in the past, and for those of you that are going to continue to do so. Another question that I have that I've been thinking about for some time is, what's the difference between, and it's related to the question I just asked about taking accountability and apologizing. Because I'm already realizing that a lot of men have already reported that they don't even receive apologies to begin with. But even if they do get the apology, is that holding oneself accountable, or are those one and the same, or is there some?
Yeah, come on up there,
noticeable difference between
CKJ3. We can
being
do
held accountable, holding yourself
karaoke.
accountable, and simply apologize?
They're not the
I've
same.
never seen you
And this
do
is another
karaoke,
video that went
And
viral.
you
They're
probably
similar,
won't.
but they're not the same. So to me, and
Well,
again,
it's
I'm
not
not
really
a
my shtick,
scholar,
but
but
if
to
we're gonna
me,
sing
an
Yeah.
apology
the
is
Sailor's Creed,
saying the words. You know,
we
Kevin
may have to
Samuels
do it
used
a
to say, when
cappella.
we say, I'm sorry, it's because we actually feel sorrow. So it really should come from a place of, you know, I'm hurt that I hurt you. You know, it's not my bad or, you know, my fault or, you know, whatever, to dismiss it. A true apology has a weight to it because we feel the burden that we've placed on someone else. However, to me, taking accountability means that there is a consequence. There is an action that you caused. So there is maybe an equal or not equal reaction to that. So, you know, an example can be one of the ladies that I was coaching got a little promotion at work and started spending money unbeknownst to her husband, and he found out about it and it wasn't good. Now, look, this is their dynamic. Do whatever works for you. But I remember asking her, you know, why don't you respect your husband? And she said, oh, I do. And I said, no, doing things behind his back just because, oh, you know, I make more than him. How is that going to play out in the long run? So in that case, you know, when I gave her my perspective and she realized what she was doing and why it was wrong, she apologized to him, because that's breaking the trust. Whatever agreement they had, every marriage is different. That's breaking the trust. So you can say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't go out on these shopping sprees and hide my purchases. I'm sorry. Well, that's great that you're sorry. That's great that you feel bad. But what if the consequence is, okay, we're cutting up the credit card and we're going to go, you know, no purchases between now and the end of the year, or we're going to go cash only, or, you know, we need to have a weekly family meeting, whatever their solution is. The consequence is how you take accountability for what you've done. So that's why I say they're
Should
similar,
never
but they're
go
not the
out
same.
on
If you
credit
just say,
card.
I'm sorry, and then you go back and do whatever you were doing before, that's not an apology at all. Sometimes it's a consequence, sometimes there's not, but we have to understand, when we cause pain or when we harm someone, we cannot be in a position to say, okay, well, you know, you should be good now. You know, I said I'm sorry. No, whatever pain you inflicted, now you gotta take what's coming to you.
Wow. And so it's not just obviously the apology, but it's either change behavior and or consequence that could potentially accompany the apology. And in that great example you used about hiding spending, that's very, very common that I've been hearing and realizing, and even with talking with couples, it's an extremely common thing. It's so normalized to where it's like, I think a lot of women, they know that it's wrong, but they don't feel like it's wrong, because it's just kind of what, oh, he doesn't need to know, and he doesn't open the boxes, and they just open up the stuff and put it in their closet.
Yeah,
A
like
legitimate consequence
women are the
for
only
women
ones who do this sort
claim
of
to
stuff.
say that they want
Dude,
to respect, and I didn't even realize what you just said, which is that is a form of disrespect. You do not respect that man if you're taking resources out of the home spending it on frivolous things that he doesn't know about. And when you add up and calculate how much it is at the end of each year, what could have been done with those things, with that money? And I didn't even like, of course it's true, you're hiding things, you're being shady, but it really, at the end of the day, what you boiled it down to was like, why don't you respect him?
Exactly. And she was floored. She was like, no, I do respect him. I said, no, you don't. It's not about the money. It's not about the shoes or the purse or look, I love a deal. It's on sale. You know, all that is fine. But again, if you're thinking about how are we going to make this for the next 50, 60 years, it has to be, you have to respect your man. I learned that the hard way. Divorce taught me that you have to respect your man. You can go through a war together, but if you don't respect that man, it's just going to bubble up in other ways. And it's just, people can do whatever they want to in their relationship, but don't come crying when the consequence hits and now you're wondering, you're trying to scramble and fix it.
Listen, y'all, don't let Amazon be the reason why y'all in divorce court. Don't let Amazon and Target and these Black Friday deals be Amazon Day, like Prime Day. Like,
Jesus
don't let
Christ,
that be the
talk
reason
about
why you
infantilizing.
can't find or stay with a good man. Because it's just that those secret purchases 99.9% of the time, unless it's a gift, is usually not worth it. It's usually not worth it. And if you have to keep doing this, it doesn't even satisfy you long term.
Right. We are just a consumer culture. I just want to say this because I can hear the women howling at the moon.
Who knows? I get the impression sometimes he just talks for no reason, just to have something to say.
Some people have joint spending. Some people have completely separate accounts. Some people have his, hers, and ours. I'm just saying, honoring what you all agreed to in the beginning. And if you want to do something different, just ask. You have to be able to communicate with your husband. Babe, I've had my eye on these shoes. What can we do? Whatever it is. I'm not saying that you need to suffer in silence. We're not going to go the nuclear option on this. But again, it comes down to the disrespect, because it's a shopping spree over here. It's a coffee date over here. It is a, accepting, extending yourself with your family over here. It's anything that you all didn't agree to as a unit. And again, this only applies if you want marriage or long term. If you just want to date, go do your own thing. That's why you're single anyway.
So let me focus on some of the super chats. Walter Davis, thank you for the $2. Greatly appreciate it. If you have not clicked on the super chats or the dollar signs, I'm always recommending, if people want to donate $2, $3, what you can afford, always greatly appreciate it. If you're already a channel member, don't feel obligated or feel pressured to feel like you have to donate towards the channel, because you're already supporting the channel. Thank you, Walter, for that. Shout out to the Geek Surgeon for the $2 as well. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all send this video to a couple different people, your friends, your girlfriends. I am telling you that as a man and as a woman, we're kind of putting y'all on game. Is the people who tend to be a little bit more serious about this stuff, these are the things that they're paying attention to. The women that get the outcomes they're looking for, they've already been made aware of this either by their upbringing, or they found people like they went to finishing school, or they met with people like Miss Maggie, Anita, Taylor Chandler, and others. They know something that perhaps you don't. And in fact, I would even argue we're now at a place where they're almost countercultural. We're not almost.
Yeah. Okay. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow we'll finish this up. If there's time at the end of the Navy stuff.
Yeah.
So
what you cooking for dinner tonight, Stanley?
Well, I made basically a crock pot bean and sausage stew.
Oh, nice. That sounds
so
good.
Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up because I am getting
you
a little.
Make any cornbread to go with it?
Nope. I am going to make some pita bread.
Mm.
Let's see. He must be cheap if he's crying about a. I don't know. I yeah, it was a little weird. But I don't know. I I mean, obviously he is some sort of therapist, so I mean he might be speaking from, from some experience or something like that. So, I guess I really shouldn't make snide remarks. He is a professional. So, all right, folks. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. Should be
All right,
back
Stanley.
tomorrow around 1 or 1:30 for the Veterans Day show. Uh, it'll be mostly
Gonna
Navy. Just
you
went
gonna
in,
have
went to the U.S. Navy YouTube site and pulled some stuff from there. So I will see
all
everybody
right.
tomorrow. 12th man, I enjoyed it. Kim,
Yeah, short
Kelvin,
but
and
sweet. I'll
CKJ.
catch you later, Stanley.
Okay, take it easy. And let's see who else. Slick Rick, Richard. It was a full house today. Brian, Deacon Dave, of course. He spent quite a bit of time up here. Slick Rick, Colin Shonery. I will, and Lawrence, and Zhang Wei. I will see everybody tomorrow, and we will do a Navy thing. Take it easy, y'all.